It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, back at it on a wet and wild Wednesday. Maddie, you know what we get to do today?
What we got, baby?
We get to talk sports on the radio.
It's good life. I love it.
We are Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Maddie Ice Hayes, and CB. We're all feeling good. I usually ask the question, but I already know the answer.
Yeah, I feel
And the reason that I'm fast-forwarding us a little bit, because occasionally I'll do this, I'll give you the menu, because you always know I skip the menu. Adam Schefter, senior NFL insider for ESPN, bottom of the hour, 12:30, as always. The one and only BC, Bobby Carpenter at 1:30 from the Morning Juice. And then we'll do Hockey and Hounds on his day off, presumably around his nap. Okay. I've talked to Zach Werenski. Will jump on
there we go.
For Hockey and Hounds at 2:30. Wasn't a great game last night. We'll go over that in a second. But I do want to get you need to explain something to me.
Okay. What can I help you with?
I've kind of caught the back end of this, and I don't have the front end. What in the world is going on with LeBron and Stephen A. Smith?
Listen.
All right, all I've caught is Stephen A.'s version of this. It's incredible. The drama is awesome.
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm right. Stephen A. has apparently said something negative about Bronny.
I think that's the root of this.
Is this a keep my son's name out your mouth?
Kind of like Will Smith smacked the you-know-what out of Chris Rock, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. It's similar.
And before you jump in, I want to set up one more thing. LeBron is so advanced in his career and at the end that he went at it with Stephen A. in the middle of a game.
Okay. Listen, I don't know the timing of it. I've just seen the video.
It happened in the third quarter or something, a timeout.
So what I understand is what you said, that somewhere along the line, Stephen A. said something about Bronny, I don't know what, that ticked off LeBron. And so the ESPN NBA Countdown Studios are in L.A.
That's right.
And I forget who they were playing the other day, but it was a home game, obviously,
Knicks.
for the thank you. It was the Knicks. Thank you. And Stephen A's in the building. And LeBron sees Stephen A. and approaches him, and you can see the energy from LeBron is not pleasant, right? He's giving Stephen A. some smoke. And I understand this. I'm not a parent, but I can kind of wrap my mind around that emotion for any parent to hear Stephen A. or somebody publicly getting after your kid. Again, I don't know what was said, but LeBron confronts Stephen A. It seems to be a very short and sweet and to the point conversation between the two. And so LeBron goes his way. And then yesterday, Stephen A. pops up on a podcast, and I'm not sure exactly which podcast it was. Maybe Gilbert Arenas' podcast. It was Gilbert Arenas' podcast.
That's the part I caught.
And he said that the move by LeBron was weak.
And called it BS.
Yeah, right. And Stephen A. said on First Take the next day, I can't say on air what LeBron said to me because the FCC will come after me. So you can kind of paint the picture of where LeBron was at and what type of energy he had for Stephen A. I actually don't think the move was weak because, like, he confronted him face to face.
Well, the weak part, I think what he's speaking about, which I heard on the podcast, was he said Stephen A's there with, like, Larry David and some other big wigs, and LeBron starts to bark at him in the middle of a timeout, and he's kind of like, and he says to LeBron, this is what he says, he goes, I said to LeBron, we can talk about it. Like, we can talk about it. Like, but now?
Here's what I think. Here's what I think is interesting, though. When you are Stephen A. and you've been on TV for 20 plus years and you've been this character that has this high-end, rah-rah energy, calling everybody out. I ain't scared of anybody with the takes I'm throwing out there. I don't think there can be any type of tucking your tail / retreating energy or woe is me type of energy when you go on national TV and you call out everybody 5 days a week. So, listen, as far as headliner stuff right now in the world of sports, this is up there. It's one of the biggest topics. You got arguably the biggest voice in sports talk and the face and one of the biggest athletes in the world going head to head right now. It's something.
The weird part about the story that he was telling is that he looked over and made eye contact with Bronny during the first quarter, and he said he had a sad look on his face. And Stephen A. believes that LeBron saw that, which led to LeBron confronting him in the middle of the damn game.
It has to be more than that, right? It has to
listen,
be.
this isn't just... It's a little weird because Bronny's a professional athlete. Like, this is not like you're saying something about, my high school son or even my collegiate son. Like, it seems... I think that's why Stephen A. is probably saying this feels a little weak. Like, basically once hey, I got a job to do. You got a job to do.
Like I said, I don't know what was said.
Okay.
Like, that's the other part. I don't know exactly what was said. But, yeah, Stephen A., LeBron getting after each other. And, look, LeBron's not the first guy. Kevin Durant's called out Stephen A. plenty of times, called him an idiot. You got, this is kind of the NBA world. Like, those guys just, Charles Barkley calling Kendrick Perkins an idiot the other day. Yeah. But this was face-to-face confrontation. And I'm very surprised, too, AR, that we live in the world of everybody having a cell phone up and running at all times, that we don't have a better video/audio of that interaction between the two.
Nobody knew it was coming, and I don't think it lasted that long.
It didn't.
So by the time you whipped out that phone, I don't think you would be able to record. Somebody did catch it in the stands. They just were maybe a couple, 3 rows back. Yeah. And with noise going on in an arena, you couldn't pick it out. I haven't listened to it, but I know there is a tweet out there with LeBron going up to Stephen A. and them in the middle of a timeout kind of going at each other, and LeBron kind of shaking his head. And LeBron walked away, which he had to do because there's a game going on. Stephen A. never sat down until LeBron left.
Yeah, because he was probably in shock a little bit. I'm sure he was struck a little bit. Yeah, LeBron was definitely not asking Stephen A. to go to Nobu after the game. That's for sure. He wasn't planning that.
Yeah, here's the quote. Stephen A., he said, "Yo, you got to stop talking blank about my son. You got to stop blanking with my son. That's my son. That's my son." I said, "Yo, let's talk later." He was like, "Nah, blank that. You got to stop blanking with my son." And I said, "All right."
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, if that's the way you want to.
It's a parent's perspective. I'm not a parent, so I don't know what that emotion is like, but I can only imagine that it's not a great thing.
And I really don't know what he has said about him, or, I mean, everyone. The problem with this whole situation is that he is an athlete's son of one of the greatest to ever play.
Yeah.
And so the expectations for Bronny were always going to be there. Same thing may happen with Charlie Woods. Same thing probably happened to a much lesser degree to some other famous, whether it was Walter Payton's son or brother or who else might think? Even Jordan's kid, right? So, but this is a different level. I mean, because these guys were very good early on, and you kind of knew they'd have a chance to be professionals. And it doesn't seem like, I mean, outside of like Bobby Hull and Brett Hull, the son is usually, Ken Griffey Jr.
He was better
than, so there are some examples.
But not many, to your point. Not many.
The Faja usually holds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They hold the crown usually more times than not. Speaking of Stephen A., Stephen A. reportedly, AR, new $100 million deal.
That had just gotten announced, by the way, I guess, before he.
My goodness.
Yeah, I don't. Listen.
I mean.
I don't know where all the money comes from. I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about these contracts in the NFL and how $3 million was a career for a guy. And now it's a game. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking to myself, is the TV, I mean, obviously the rates they can charge for advertising must be, the TV contracts are so crazy.
They are.
How could you afford to pay a guy $3 million a game?
It's what you mentioned. And
the
just
NFL
think about,
is that big.
It is, man. And think about the bidding wars that we've talked about from Amazon and Netflix and just all these different streaming services.
Are we buying these products they're pitching in the middle of the commercials?
Some people are, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't catch myself, scanning those QR codes or whatever it is when they pop up. But the amount of money that Netflix spent to get the Christmas Day games, I mean, the package that Amazon put together to buy, those games from the NFL, the money is just, it's through the roof. It's a it's through the roof. And for the quarterback position, it's a timing thing, right? They're getting this big bite of this apple at the right time because they play the most important position. So if you're Burrow, Lamar, Pat, Josh Allen, these guys that are in that $50 million
with
club,
them.
You're thinking about $1.5 to $3 million every Sunday. Win, lose, or draw.
And if you are one of the lucky 32 that get to take a snap in a regular season NFL game, you think of the odds, they're pretty low.
Yeah.
32 jobs.
That's it.
And even the backup is getting paid because it's such a violent sport.
Speaking of backups, real quick, AR, just think about the money that the Colts just handed to Daniel Jones. On the
14
scale,
mil?
Yeah, on the scale of quarterback money, it's very, very low. But you zoom out from that and think about what he's done in his career. There was a team that said, you know what? Because we don't have a guy right now that's good enough and consistent enough in Anthony Richardson, we're desperate. So we're going to hand this guy 1 for 14.
So he may not even play. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, if he isn't playing, if Anthony Richardson somehow continues to beat him out or beats him out, then Daniel Jones is going to get almost $1 million a game to watch.
Just hang out.
Be ready.
That's it. Throw a couple balls in warm-ups, you know.
But like I said, he's, if you count all the backups, so then he's one of 64.
He's on track to be possibly the richest backup quarterback in the history of the game when he's done. Because he got $100 million already from the Giants. 14. Yeah. And he's young enough to where he can just keep adding these up. We played the Chase Daniel game, a few weeks ago, where it's like these dudes can make 180, 90 millions of dollars as a backup quarterback in the league.
You got to have a certain skill set.
Yeah.
And you got to be in the right position, the right time, and all that. Mm-hmm. But it is unreal. When I started thinking about the money, and it's so massive that the TV money is just that big.
It is.
When they found a way, when technology found a way, not just football, just television, when technology found a way to advertise a product in Columbus, Ohio, and have it seen in L.A. or whatever, when cable TV, whenever that was, 79, 80, whenever that was, when they gave us more than 3 channels, suddenly that was the timing. Yep. All right, we'll come back. We'll check in on the Jackets. That game was being billed last night as one of the most important games of the season for the other team. They played like it. We'll talk about it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Common Man here for Worthington Jewelers. I was the voice of another company for a long time, and then my good friend Bob Capace changed my mind about the jewelry experience. 25 years of local, 25 years of relationships. Experience the difference for yourself just like I did. The spring bridal sale is going on right now. You buy one, you get one 50% off. The best prices of the year on natural and lab-grown diamonds. Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com.
For 100 years, our passion at Atlas Butler has been helping people. From those who have relied on us for years to those who call us for the first time. For our team, their families, and our community, Atlas Butler is here to keep Central Ohio safe and comfortable with trusted, convenient service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here. Over the past 10 years, the weight loss industry has seen it all. New medications, fad diets, sculpting, yet Awaken 180 still stands alone as the proven solution for lasting weight loss. Results at awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm an old school Joe. I never lay juice I don't want to lay. I don't hate my money like that. I'd rather lay minus 108 than minus 110, wouldn't you? Prime Sports is Ohio's full-time reduced juice sports book. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bobby Carpenter here for Germain Toyota. Swing by Germain Toyota and ask for Marcello and discover unbeatable deals and a wide selection of new and certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Visit them at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Goes to Rothman and Ice has been named the best midday show in the country by our industry peers. A winner if ever there was one. Congratulations, gentlemen. Also, Common Man and T-Bone has been named best show at sucking the fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another spring-like day today. We're going to keep the good times rolling this week. Sunny today with a high of 70. Increasing clouds tonight, low 43. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 70. Partly cloudy on Friday with a high of 75. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Want to jinx your favorite sports team?
Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
Just ask Maddie to print your shirts. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
You didn't print the jacket shirts, did you?
No, I did not. I stayed away from that. It was right after the Four Nations break. Jackets come out of that thing.
I thought you said you would if they won it.
Print the shirts.
Did he not say that? I think he said if they won the Stadium Series. I could be wrong. I thought you said, I'm going to probably come in here Monday and do it.
I don't recall if he said that, but I know he did not say that afterwards.
I didn't say it, but I think what you're saying, AR, is correct. I just wanted to stay away from the Matty Ice print the shirts curse because it seems to be pretty real.
It's real when you do it so early. This would be acceptable if you felt like you wanted to lean into it because of the lack of games that we have left. I mean, you've got, 18 games left.
For the folks that don't know, the clip that CB played of me from last year it is officially print the shirts season. Was 6 or 7 games into.
I think it was 6.
The Reds.
They were 4-2.
4-2.
And what it was, they went into Philly. They took out one of the National League favorites, and it was all I needed to see. I was drinking all the Kool-Aid.
162-game season.
Foolish of me. Yeah. Foolish of me, to say the least. But I'm not doing it to the Jackets, because right now our Jackets, we got work to do.
All right, so this was the one that I felt could kind of right all the wrongs of the 2 games they played, certainly prior to that with Florida and Tampa. You know, watching last night's game, Jersey, I think, felt, with that being at home, and this is no excuse. The Jackets have to know this. If I know it, they know it.
Yeah.
And the Jersey was pitching that game, their media, and I was listening to it, was pitching that game as the most important game of their season. They just kind of felt things slipping. Here comes a red-hot team in the Jackets, the sympathetic team of the NHL with a lot of belief and a lot of talent, and they just jumped on them. Now, it was, the first goal was a power play goal with Hischier, on the right of Elvis. It was a deflection. It was a good deflection. I don't know how he gets that open. I know it's a power play, but it felt like it should have been clogged up a little more. Then the other one, the one that came right after that, was, I think Connor came out of the box, catches it on the fly, a bad break with Booner's shot getting blocked, and then all of a sudden he's off to the races. You need Elvis to save that if he can. He doesn't, and now it's 2-0. He gets 5-hold. The weird bounces kind of continued because Zach is just, his puck just kind of just gets through you, and it's one of those things, he kind of gets through him, on a when he's kind of back checking. And so, but I loved the fight in them. 3-0 Jackets, or 3-0 Devils. You know me. I would have looked at the odds. I would have looked at the odds and said, okay, they're toast, but I'd be curious. And I never looked because I just felt like, then it's 3-1 with a deflection from Ollie. And then it's Fance to Marchie on a great feed to make it 3-2, and you're in it. And then, again, it was a little bit of a bad break in that Zach's trying to thread a puck through some traffic. It gets picked off, and then you got 3 dudes way behind the play. And then Zach's caught trying to play catch-up, and Timo Meier, I thought that was a great shot. I'll give him that all day. And so Matty just felt like me. They were chasing that game from the drop of the puck.
They were. They absolutely were. And they shook the room a little bit in the second period, which they've been good in that period.
Very.
All year long. I saw this floating around last night that, Jackets are top 5 in the league in second period goals. I mean, that's pretty good stuff right there from them. But yeah, that no matter what sport you're talking about, you get buried early to a certain degree. The climb out of that Batman hole is always going to be a grind. You talked about the fight in the guy, the mental focus from those guys. We've seen it all year long. We knew that they weren't going to lay down. But, 2 things that really jumped out to me, and more so that are big picture outside of what we saw last night, is something that we talked about all year, AR, is that when they get away from Nationwide, things have been dicey for them. And if we're going to be talking about the unfortunate scenario of them not getting in the postseason, and I believe right now they're still in that second wild card slot, which is great, right? But the way things have gone in 3 of the last 4 games, all the way from Nationwide, you're talking about L's, and the totality of what you've done away from Nationwide right now is 11, 19, and 4. And so when you talk about scratching and clawing and trying to hold on to a postseason berth and all of those things, you got to go into other barns and find a way to get it done. Great at home. Absolutely incredible at Nationwide, but that's one thing now moving forward. They got to steal a few of those to be in position to where they want to be. Yeah. And then yesterday, too, you just didn't cash in on the power play, and that's been a thorn in their side
lately.
The last couple of games. I mean, you're talking, yesterday it was 0-3 in the loss versus Florida, or 0-4, I'm sorry, in the loss versus Florida. Tampa was 0-2. Last 3 games for them, the 3 losses on the road, they're 0-12 on the power play. So when you have the advantage, it's just where you got to cash in. And so those 2 things really jumped out to me amongst the things that you laid out very well. The finite details of the game is away from their home barn, it's been a struggle, but they got to cash in on those power play opportunities because they're not doing that right now.
Yeah, I just think there's an intensity that they have to bring to the road ice that maybe they just, it's more natural to have at home. Here's a quick bite. Boon Jenner talked about the intensity the Devils played with.
We knew they were going to come out hard. I just don't think we were playing, quite to our standard there in the first. Obviously, and they made us pay. More of our style in the second and got us back into it, and then that's where our chances came from. Was just playing our style, getting it behind them. When we started doing that, we started coming, and then we can't give up that one first shift of the third. It's our line there. We can't start the period like that.
Listen, they know it. They got to do something about it. And like I said, it's not like Jersey was a team that was out of it. That's a team that I swear to you, they were pitching that game like that was the most important game of their season. Yeah. And I thought they jumped and played like it, and they got some bounces, and they made it count, and then the Jackets were chasing. Give them credit for making 3-2. You hate that late second, I think it was late second. And then you just absolutely cannot give up a goal in the first 25 seconds of the third period. That just kills me. And I know hockey is a weird sport. Weird bounces happen all the time. Yeah. You never know when a goal's coming. But that Luke Hughes, that high wrister that made it 5-2, then you kind of knew it was over. Even though Jackets did get back within 2 with 9 minutes to go. So they never really bailed on it. The good news is they're coming home. And maybe the greatest stat I can give you today on the confidence is that the Columbus Blue Jackets have scored the most goals at home of any NHL team this season.
It's incredible.
And so that is where it counts.
4 straight at home.
So that home ice has been really good to them. We know that the fans bring to the table. It's getting good now in middle of March. Mm-hmm. And usually when a lot of times we flip the page to March Madness, and they are in it, though. Yeah. They're in it. Their schedule's tough. Key games. I mean, Vegas is good. Their goaltending's been inconsistent. Trust me. I have Aiden Hill on my fantasy team, and I thought about having Samsonov, but I'm glad I didn't pick him up. I thought I'd just rotate Vegas goalies. That would be a mistake. Yeah. The Rangers are coming, Devils are coming, Florida's coming. At Pittsburgh, you got to get that. At the Isle, you got to. Those are the ones. The road trip. They could really kind of crank things here if they play really well at home, and then they steal those two, which they actually steal is the wrong word. They'll probably be favored to win them, but then you're looking down the schedule, and this Ottawa team, they get 3 more with them, 2 of them on the road, and so it's fun. I think it's great. I'm not here guaranteeing anything. I told you yesterday I doubled down on them making the playoffs. Bad timing because now Vegas is offering Bet365 is offering even more on the Jackets. Okay, now. They're like plus 150 now.
You know what we're offering? We're offering 2 suite passes to see the Blue Jackets take on the New Jersey Devils on Monday, March 17th. Huge. You can come hang out with us in the suite next Monday at Nationwide Arena. CB let me know he wants to do these right around 1 o'clock. So we'll give away 2 more passes to Suite Night with us, your boys, Monday, March 17th at home against the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, it's not just the suite and watching the game. We get to be there, too.
Just kicking it with us.
So that'll be fun. We'll come back with Adam Schefter in 2 minutes, the senior NFL insider for ESPN, and we get to find out from him if Aaron Rodgers, as a free agent, will be coveted. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HIM to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text HIM to 321-321. That's HIM to 321-321.
Men, this is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. The one you love is the light of your life. And if you're like most of us, you want to do whatever you can to nurture your relationship. But if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction, you know the impacts the condition is likely having on you and your partner. ED is a relationship destroyer. It can contribute to depression, distancing, conflicts, and even breakups and divorce. And what's so disturbing about this is that most men who suffer with ED can be successfully treated, but a lot of guys don't seek treatment when they should. At Tri-State Men's Health, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases. In fact, if you're like most guys, you could be having great sex within a day or 2 of your first appointment, and maybe find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. So call Tri-State Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
NFL Playbook with ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
All right, he's got his head on a swivel now. all the cell phones and everything else he's been covering here in this madness. New league year, I think, starts at 4 o'clock today. So my guess is that Aaron Rodgers will be a free agent. Shefty, good afternoon. Good to have you.
Hello there, gentlemen. What's going on?
You tell me, is that going to happen? 4 o'clock, Aaron Rodgers becomes an official free agent?
Yeah, that's the full expectation, is that Aaron Rodgers will be cut at 4 o'clock today.
Okay. So it's weird because a name like Aaron Rodgers and the talent like Aaron Rodgers, you'd say, wow, he can handpick his destination, but it's not that easy. There aren't that many suitors and jobs, but it seems like a couple teams have been potentially linked to maybe bringing him in. You tell us what you believe.
I think that he's going to have interest. I mean, I could see Seattle being interested. I could see Denver being interested. I could see New England being interested. I could see Tennessee. I mean, you go to the wide receiver needy teams. Cooper Kupp's going to fit in a lot of places, right? To me, that's not an issue. It's a question of where he wants to go, what he wants to do. Who's going to offer the most money, right? That's going to be the biggest thing to me, and what he thinks is the best fit.
So, Shefty, hitting you up on Aaron Rodgers, your thoughts on some of the rumors that are out there when it comes to potentially the Steelers, the Giants, there's some Viking stuff out there right now. What's the latest on Aaron Rodgers and what you're hearing about him?
Well, that's the whole big thing right now. Every week there's something, right? And everybody's waiting on Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh wants to know his answer. The New York Giants want to know his answer. And it certainly seems like he's the top dog and the top choice for these teams. And, again, you have to make sure that he is going to play and that he wants to play in a particular place. What if he decides that he wants to retire? We haven't heard officially from him, okay, I want to come out and play. I think he wants to play. That's what I believe. But with him, you never really know what's going to happen. And Pittsburgh would seem to be the most logical spot if he's going to play again. And Pittsburgh's waiting for an answer, but Aaron Rodgers is taking time, and he's taking his time making the decision.
Well, the Steelers must be somewhat interested, or at least waiting to hear, like you say, because if not, they probably bring Russell back. And since they haven't said anything about that yet, I'm making the assumption that maybe Wilson is the backup plan and not the first plan.
Well, it's Aaron seems to be the top choice for the Steelers and the Giants. And, yes, you're correct. If you wanted Russell Wilson back so much, you could have gotten it done. But let me also say this. Russell has options. So Russell is sifting through what he wants to do, and I think he's waiting. Like, if Aaron Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh or New York, Russell might have more leverage somewhere else. He might. So he's not in any rush to make a decision. So people might think, okay, well, he's the second choice. He's stuck. I don't think it's quite that way. I think Russell's got some options in play, and we're going to see how this plays out here in the coming days.
What's your understanding of Cleveland's interest in Kirk Cousins? We know there's history there with he and Kevin Stefanski. I know he's not officially a free agent yet, but your thoughts on Cleveland and the vibe that you're getting that they may want to bring Kirk Cousins to town?
Well, I think there are a few teams that are interested in Kirk Cousins. The problem is Atlanta is not moving off him right now. They're in a stare down. And Kirk Cousins, to the best of my knowledge and to the best of my expectations, is not being released today. He's not being traded right now. And I don't think anything is going to happen with Kirk Cousins till, in my opinion, after the draft is completed and he can survey the full field. He went through a situation last year where Atlanta drafted Penix under his nose. He's not going to fight to get somewhere and for the second straight year have a team draft a guy. I think when Kirk Cousins finds a new home, it may not be until May 1 or so.
Ooh, that's interesting because I see your point on that. Because you're right. We were playing it the other way. We were playing it, well, the Browns go after Cousins. They get him as kind of a placeholder. They could still draft a quarterback, which you've always believed they would do anyway.
Well, I'm off that now. I'm off that now. I was in the camp that I believed, I was confident that they go. But, again, after spending more time in Indianapolis and talking to more and more, I'm not as confident, for the record. So I want to change I always reserve the right to change my opinion. As we said, nothing is absolute at this time of the year. You go off what you hear, what you know, what you think. I'm revising what I said.
Okay. Let me take it, and that's very understandable. Let me take it another step further then. Is it because, well, you give me the reasons you think that's happening. Because they're going to go after a veteran, or they feel the quarterback that they really want in the draft won't be there, that maybe they only like one of them and they think that one's going to be gone? What is your reasoning for coming off of it?
Because, again, the more you talk to personnel people across the league and the more information you gather, the more you hear about the strength of certain players. Mm-hmm. And, again, I was, a month ago, confident that the Browns would go quarterback at 2. I was. I'm not in that camp anymore. I'm just not, based on the conversations I've had with multiple people, things you hear, things you know.
That makes sense. What are you hearing at number 1 with Tennessee? Are they taking a quarterback?
Well, here's what I would say. I believe that ultimately, whoever has the number 1 pick, I believe Cam Ward will wind up going number 1. That's what I believe.
Okay.
Now, it's up to Tennessee to decide whether or not they stay there or trade the pick, get an offer from Cleveland, get a huge offer from the Giants, the Raiders, whoever. I don't think the Raiders would do that now that they've acquired Geno Smith. But somebody, the Giants would be a logical one. Yeah. And if you're the Titans, first you got to make the decision. Do we want Cam Ward? Do we want to make that pick? And if you do, then it's the end of the discussion. It's not good. The discussion is going nowhere. If you are open to taking Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter or Shador Sanders or another player, then you can say to the New York Giants, what are you willing to give up? Oh, we're willing to give up this and this and this. Okay. Cleveland, what are you willing to give up? Because if you don't want to trade up, the Giants are going to jump you. So the Titans have to go first, but I believe that whoever is going to be picking at 1, whether Tennessee stays there or a team trades up there, I believe it'll be for Cam Ward.
Schefter, as you know, the Sanders family is very polarizing, and there's some stuff out there, whether it's true or not, that maybe the league is cooling a bit on Shador and he could slide. However, how far that is, I don't know. But what are you hearing about Shador, and is that true that there are teams that are looking at not only the game tape, but maybe some of the other stuff that comes along with Shador and not being really attracted to that? Is that a real thing in the NFL circles right now?
I think there are people that have questions and concerns, yes, but I think he's also an elite talent. So, again, it's just a question of one team deeming him worthy of going very high, which I still think he'll be a high pick, right? I mean, I don't know who has what concerns specifically, but I do think he's going to be a high pick. He's going to go high in this draft. I just don't know if he's for everybody right now.
Okay. When it comes to Myles Garrett and the deal he got done, is it as simple as, hey, they offered the man $40 million a year and $100+ million in guarantees? Is it as simple as that, why he turned around and signed that dotted line? Or, according to your sources and the people that you talk to, does he have a better feel of the plan moving forward and the direction that they're going specifically at the quarterback position? I just believe it was a dispute that went on. The sides are in touch. The Browns stayed at it. They continue to kind of recruit, sell, pitch, persuade. And ultimately, when you're offering $40+ million a year, it's pretty easy to have a persuasive argument. When you're offering money that makes you the highest paid non-quarterback in football history, I think you can kind of change your tune a little bit. And I just think that the more they talked, look, the Browns dug in there, and they said, we're not going to trade the guy. If you're Myles Garrett and your team saying, we're not going to trade, where are you going with that? Are you prepared to sit out and bring in forfeiture on bonus money and be fined and have it get messy and have people criticizing you? And are you prepared to do that? Do you want to take the long, difficult road, which may have an incredible outcome and may wind up with you playing for a Super Bowl? That could happen. It's going to be quite a journey to get there. Or do you want to just cash out and take $40 million a year?
Yeah, it's wild. It is wild because he was pretty hell-bent on saying that I got to go to a contender. But I agree with you. I think it was to the point where Cleveland, like you've always said, they weren't going to trade him unless maybe they were going to call his bluff, but they didn't need to call his bluff because they love him so much. They wanted to pay him all that money, and so I guess everybody's happy at the end of the day. So there you go. Stays in Cleveland. Adam, good stuff, man, as always. Thanks for the visit.
Anthony, Matty Ice, appreciate it. It should be a little bit of a chaotic afternoon here. I would imagine it'll start picking up about 4 o'clock. Teams will start officially releasing players and signing players. And, I mean, we know most of the things that are coming, but I'm sure there'll still be a couple of surprises.
Schefter, real quick before we let you go, how many hours of sleep you getting right now or the last couple of days?
I don't know. Like, I've gotten some. My wife called me. She's like, "You look very tired. You got big bags under your eyes." I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's it. That's the week. That's the time of the year it is. This weekend, hopefully we'll get a little bit of sleep, and that's the way it'll be."
Yeah.
And just a final
territory.
Yeah, final one on a quarterback. You do think there's no chance Cousins stays in Atlanta as a high-priced backup?
Let's put it this way. I don't know how it's going to play out exactly, but I don't expect that Kirk Cousins will wind up playing again in Atlanta. How about that?
That's
I think it'll be a little while before that situation's settled, but I don't believe that they're going to change Kirk Cousins' mind on this.
All right. Thanks, my man. Be well.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
That's great. Adam Schefter with us, senior NFL insider on ESPN. It's always about the money. Because the Falcons thing is kind of complicated. They got that $10 million that just roster bonus that becomes fully guaranteed to Cousins if he's on the roster through March 16th.
His point about being burned already by one franchise and playing the waiting game, talking about Kirk Cousins.
You could say they got burned by him.
Well, I'm just saying,
play that well.
Being kind of undermined by the draft pick is, I think, very real.
But he had a chance to hold on to the job.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying prior to all the football stuff.
I hear you.
Maybe he wants to play this waiting game and see how the draft
but
works
Arthur
out
Blank can't. They owe him another $10 million on March 16th. That's 4 days from now.
I agree with everything you're saying. I'm saying if Kirk is looking at Cleveland and saying, I want to go there, I'm waiting to see what they do at 2. And I get that. I get it.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah. That little nugget.
And by the way, he also said, somebody offers Tennessee a deal to move up. Well, if Cleveland has no interest, not no interest, but if they've lessened their interest, as he's heard, on drafting a quarterback, then why would they go to number 1?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not going to number 1 to draft Abdul Carter.
Unless you think he is the next Miles bleeping Garrett and TJ Watt and Lawrence Taylor.
Well, you have the next Miles Garrett. He's on the team.
They put them together.
The current one.
2 of them.
We come back. College coach says his team has lost its edge, Matty, but he knows how to fix it. We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmelt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not...
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gertis?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gertis was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be me.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros, the pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Winter this year was a little snowier and colder than the last few years, and that makes spring's arrival that much better. Spring means Oakland Nursery's annual Spring Fling, March 15th to the 23rd. 33% savings on houseplants, garden tools and shoes, books, summer flowering bulbs, and more. And 25% savings on packaged garden seed. Everything you need to get started in the garden this year. Celebrate spring with savings at Oakland Nursery, March 15th to the 23rd. And celebrate Oakland's 85th birthday this year. Go to oaklandnursery.com for details.
I hope you're ready for all the Jackets talk you can handle. Join us Wednesday night at 7 for the Inside Edge.
Sponsored by Visit Central Florida. Discover the real Florida magic at visitcentralflorida.com.
The Fan.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1 The Fan.
All right, this next story, it really kind of depends on, it can depend on age. It can depend on personality, and it's got a tinge of old school.
Get the hell off my lawn.
Not as much get off my lawn is that everybody is soft, right? It has a tinge of it that as athletes, society, where's the edge? And so it doesn't surprise me that is he 60, 61-year-old head coach, I don't know if it was a 35-year-old head coach that he would have done this. I don't. He grew up in a different era. He's a different guy. And I'm talking about Rich Rodriguez, head coach of West Virginia football. And there have been some headlines, some funny ones. And I'll read you the one from Barstool. Rich Rod strikes a blow for American manhood by banning WVU players from dancing on TikTok.
Manhood? Come on.
And so,
come on, man.
Listen, I'll ask Dockich about it tomorrow. He has said the same thing about IU basketball. These idiots on TikTok, they look foolish. It's play better. Look where their focus is. But I don't know, this is kind of where we are. Rich Rod felt it necessary. Remember, this is a gamble. You and I have talked about this. But maybe now that recruiting isn't solely, I want to play for that coach, it's where's my money, that maybe as long as the money still spends, okay, I'll sacrifice a few things. Now, this is a risk because now he's not, I'll let him say it. CB has the sound. Let's hear the complete soundbite.
I mean, they're going to be on it, so it's not. I'm not banning them from. I just banning them from dancing on it. You know, it's like, look, we try to have a hard edge, whatever, and you're in there, you know, in your tights, you know, dancing on TikTok. Ain't quite the image of our program that I want. But I told the team today, I said everything today is about trying to make everybody individual. It's all about the individual. It's all about the individual. And I said football is one of the last things that was got to be more about the team than the individual. And so I banned dancing on TikTok. I guess I did that. But anything that doesn't look like our program should look, you know, I mean, I think it's just like, come on. You know, really? I mean, and I'm allowed to do that, I guess. I can have rules. Now, when they, like I said, 20 years from now, they want to be sitting in their pajamas in the basement, eating Cheetos and watching TikTok or whatever the hell, they can go at it. Smoking cannabis, whatever. I mean, knock yourself out. But, you know, the hope our focus can be on winning football games. You know, how about let's win the football game and not worry about winning the TikTok.
Where the weed at?
Where the weed at?
Listen, I love it.
Man.
I'm not saying it's the secret sauce. We went through this with Ohio State, right?
Well, some of the former players were calling out the guys for dancing before the games and all of that. Look, for me, my mind doesn't equate that to losing football games, but I'm not a coach. He knows his players better than I do. I think, and here's the way I would like coaches to go about their business is, hey, if we're executing and doing the things that we need to do, both in practice and on the field, I don't think you need to be worried that much about TikTok, especially portraying an image. Like, I don't look at teams, whether it's in the professional realm of sports or at the collegiate ranks, that guys that use social media as unprofessional or they're not tough enough to go about their business. I don't connect those dots, but maybe Rich Rod does. And so he said he banned them from dancing on TikTok. Are they completely banned from TikTok too? Like, I don't know.
No, he said they weren't.
But he just said they can't dance.
Yeah, he
on
said,
TikTok,
he goes, I don't care if you go on it, which really isn't about the focus anymore.
I'm like, Coach, but I like to dance. I like to dance. If they were winning.
Dance on somebody else's team.
This wouldn't matter if they were winning. Let's be honest. They were an average football team last year. And so he's trying to course correct this and come in strong and get his guys
right away
mentally focused.
Set the agenda
for spring ball. That's what this is. He feels like it's a massive distraction. And
See, I don't think that's it. I don't think it's a distraction, because if it was a distraction and a focus thing, he would ban them from being on the app. Just, I think you guys are losing your focus. His is, I don't want you representing our program like that. It has a weird tinge to it.
So what would he rather them do on TikTok? Go out there and chop wood?
Maybe.
That to me is more foolish.
Okay, Maddie, that you just had the nice follow-up question at the presser. What would you, if you are allowing them to be visual on it?
Yeah.
What would you want them to do?
Here's what I would say to Rich Rod. If he asked me for advice, if you were going to say they can't dance on TikTok, but they can be on TikTok, just completely remove TikTok from the equation then. Because then you're threading needles that I think are unnecessary. Based off
he's playing both sides of it. I think he's not telling him, hey, you can't just scroll the internet. You're allowed to scroll the internet and watch what you guys want to watch. I'm not banning Instagram or any of that. I don't think you guys have lost your focus. I think what you've lost is an identity. And the identity that I want to have is not my players dancing around in their underwear on TikTok.
And if
that's
I was
what
a
he's
coach,
saying.
all I care about is, can this dude tackle, catch a football? Can we win games? That's my job as the head coach. None of this BS. So
you've brought up something that is one of my favorite quotes from Bull Durham, which is when Crash is talking to Nuke, and he's like, you have fungus all over your shower shoes. You're never going to make it to the bigs with fungus on your shower shoes. Think classy, you'll be classy. Yeah. If you win 20 in the show, then you can let the fungus grow. Like that was the whole thing. And the press is going to think you're colorful. So I think that's it. I think until they start winning, like Crash said the Nuke, until we start winning, you're a slob. The second we start winning, the dancing becomes maybe a little bit of the celebration and the secret sauce. I just think it's an old school thing. It's one of those things where he wants to set an agenda, the identity of his football team. I don't care what you do in private. No one knows. But when you start showcasing yourself on TikTok dancing, I feel like the identity of our team should have a little tougher headline to it. That's all.
The identity of your team can be unattractive to the recruits, too, when you start playing this game.
It's a gamble. Yeah. I get it. All right. We'll come back, top of the hour, Sports Center update. And we talked about Kirk Cousins and the final act in Cleveland. How real is it? Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
The best matchup is you in a new Kia from Coughlin Kia. Get into a new Kia now with $0 down. Get 0% financing on select new Kias and make 0 payments for 3 months on any new Kia in stock. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
0% for 72 equals $13.89 per 1,000 financed on Nero EV, EV6, and EV9 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 90 days deferred payments until June 2025. Qualified manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. No security deposit. Residency restrictions may apply. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Feeling lucky? Wear some green into the lodge on March 17th, and your Twin Peaks girl will bring you a free order of fried pickles. It's St. Patty's Day, and we know how you like to party. Valid at participating locations only with a qualifying purchase. Get with your favorite lodge for more details.
March is on at Lindsay Honda. Shoot your shot and save. It's madness. You get to choose your finance rate on over 600 new Lindsay Hondas. 0%, 1.9, 2.9, and up to a full 60 months long, and no trade-in required. This deal works with 0 down. March is on at Lindsay Honda. Save with rates as low as 0% at lindsayhonda.com.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Welcome to Tire Discounters.
Thanks. I gotta warn you, I drive a hard bargain.
Okay.
So let's hear your first offer.
Well, how about, with any 4-tire purchase, we'll give you a free alignment.
Man, I'm good. All right, let's do it before you change your mind.
And we'll also give you a free oil change.
Ha! I can't believe I talked you into this deal. Sometimes I amaze even myself. Don't tell accounting. But with any 4-tire purchase at Tire Discounters, you get a free alignment and a free full synthetic oil change. See store for details.
Atlas Butler is built to keep you comfortable, and our plumbing services are no exception. You can rely on Atlas Butler for trusted, convenient plumbing and drain service. Our expert plumbers and drain specialists can take care of anything, from a broken water heater to a clogged drain. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Make your money go further with on-the-spot savings at Rent-A-Center. Right now, get top furniture and appliance brands starting as low as $19.99 per week in rent without using credit. Only at Rent-A-Center. Rental purchase agreement. Pricing valid February 9th, 2025 to April 5th, 2025 on new merchandise at participating locations. You will not own merchandise until the total amount necessary to acquire ownership is paid in full or you exercise your early purchase option. Ownership is optional. See store for details.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful.
Now our technology needs to keep up with demand. He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply. Something amazing is happening in workplaces everywhere. Devices are learning how people work and adapting to help them get more done. That's because CDW is modernizing experiences with Dell's intelligent portfolio of devices. Thanks to built-in security and AI capabilities, your teams can work smarter wherever they may be. Dell and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Dell Client.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. Well, that Blue Jackets game didn't go the way we wanted it to. The Devils hand the CBJ a 5-3 loss. You knew it wasn't going well when the score at the end of the first period was 3-0. That slow start for the Jackets was a hurdle that they could not overcome. And this team concludes their 4-game road stretch going 1-3. Sticking with the theme of tough competition, the Jackets next take the ice tomorrow night against Vegas, who is atop the Pacific. And, of course, it'll be airing right here on The Fan. And the Big Ten Conference Tournament starts today for the men. We got 3 first-round games today. Ohio State has a date with Iowa at 6 o'clock, also here on The Fan. Ohio State is the 10 seed. Iowa is the 15. And should Ohio State win this matchup, they will play the 7 seed Illinois tomorrow. And you do not need me to tell you just how important this week is for the Buckeyes. This update is brought to you by BMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates as low as 9.90% APR with the Visa Platinum Credit Card. Apply online at bmifcu.org/visa.
This is Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, Ice, they've waited long enough.
Yes, they have.
Let's reward them.
Yes, they have. Our wonderful listeners right now, you're going to get a chance to join us next Monday night when the Jackets, your Jackets, host the New Jersey Devils, because we're going to be in the suite, kicking it, living good. Your chance right now to win 2 passes to join us in said suite is happening right now. 614-821-9710 is CB's hotline number. AR, my man, I believe you have the question.
All right, so kind of accidentally walked into this one at 12:30 with Schefter when I presumably thought he was thinking the same thing. So he has now somewhat changed his tune on what a certain team is going to do in the draft. This may be too generic of a question, CB. Maybe I need to phrase it a little differently. I'm just trying not to give it all away. That's the thing. So all they have to do is tell you, tell them the team and what the change of tune is. That would be the easiest way to say it. 821-9710 is the number, and then you'll be our big winner, and you'll be in the suite with us, and we'll talk all about it. So there you go.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It's always a good time when we get to not only go to the game, but meet some of our listeners and get to know them a little bit too. So yeah, hopefully if you're listening right now, you're one of the lucky winners because it'll be a good time. That's for sure.
He answered the phone. Is the phone ringing?
I think he's already chopping it up with
talking to somebody. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
We could take these phone calls live on the air sometime.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad
idea. The way to do it would be the really tough ones where people are just guessing, like they did yesterday, hoping that they kind of knew what we were going to say.
I'll tell you what, when I used to produce for you and Bobby, sometimes you get people that
the good old days?
They're the good old days, right? They get really excited about, hey, this is a prize I'm interested in, and then they just hear the prize they are, and they call in without even hearing the question, which I understand because you want to get in line because there's only so many, hotline numbers we got over there. But yeah, the kid's grinding over there right now. So hopefully somebody's locked in. And I believe we're going to do this tomorrow as well. So if you don't get the tickets today.
Wait, we have 2 more for the suite tomorrow?
I believe so.
Sounds kind of jammed.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, it's a big old suite.
I like to stand anyway during the games.
The Big Don hit us with the XL suite.
That's right.
Shout out to Don Waddell, the Big Don.
Maybe the Big Don will wander down. Maybe we
be nice.
Promise that.
Cool dude. Wouldn't surprise me.
A visit from Big Don Sub as he just floats down the concourse. Listen, that's a massive game. They're all massive. But the fact that we're opening up the suite for a couple of our listeners, or a handful of them, to watch the Jackets and the Devils. Dios mío. El Diablo. All right. The Cousins thing is interesting.
Yeah.
I think he already has a winner, so now I can say it, right? I'm assuming you have a winner. Oh, he's thumbs up.
He's gathering info.
All right. So the answer is
Allen Iverson?
He was the answer. The answer to this is that Schefter, after he left the combine, started to believe that the Browns are not going to take a quarterback at 2. But then I kind of forced him into, well, why? Like, who's going to play quarterback?
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett? And then you asked him, well, what about Cousins? And he's like, well, I think Cousins owes it to himself to wait for the draft so he doesn't get blindsided again by a team that is going to draft his replacement.
Yeah.
But the timing of that doesn't work out because for him, he can't really dictate terms like that. Like, I think the team has to make a decision. I told you they could get him and still draft a quarterback, but what Schefter's telling us is, well, he wouldn't want that.
Yeah, he ain't signing up for that game again. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. If you're Kirk Cousins, you're at this point in your career, you're in your late 30s, and you're looking to bounce back and remind people that I'm still a guy. Is he still a guy? I don't know. It sure didn't look like that last year, but I'm willing to give a guy in his late 30s recovering from an Achilles going into a new system some grace. And so for Kirk, he handled it, I thought, like a pro publicly last year. The whole Michael Penix situation.
Well,
because
he did get $100 million guaranteed.
No question.
That should make somebody toe the line a little bit.
I get it, right? But still, as a competitor, you still want to go out there and do your thing. The money is real. So what you're saying is absolutely legit. But to go into that scenario again, I think would be tough. We played the clip yesterday from Zach Jackson, who covers the Browns for The Athletic. He was on up in 92.3 in Cleveland, and he said, based on some of the things he's hearing, that Kirk Cousins could be a Brown by this weekend. Schefter joined us today and said that Kirk Cousins would be willing to play the waiting game, and right around the beginning of May is when he would make his decision if he is released by the Atlanta Falcons. First night of the draft is April 24th. So all of that does make sense to me, because if you, let's say we found out today, tomorrow, this weekend, whatever it is, Atlanta's releasing Kirk Cousins, he joins the Cleveland Browns. And you're sitting there on April 24th, and Rodgers comes up on the stage and says, with the second pick in the NFL draft, it's Cam Ward or Shador. That's a tough place to be if you're Kirk Cousins. It really is. So playing that movie again, I wouldn't want to see that either for Kirk, if I was Kirk.
Yeah, listen, I get it. He's at the end of his career. He doesn't want to end it sitting on the bench. Just like Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to come back and hold a clipboard for whatever money. I think they want to know that they have a chance to play, or they are going to be the guy. But now the Browns have me thinking, now that Schefter's got me thinking that he might not agree. But where's he going to go?
Well, that's a whole nother part of the scenario that gets interesting.
And you know it. I just can't imagine that Atlanta would make this move. No. They already benched him once. I
the
think
move you're talking about is keeping him.
Keeping him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I asked Schefter that at the end, and he said he didn't think so. He said, I highly doubt that's going to happen.
Speaking of Kirk Cousins, former Browns quarterback Brian Hoyer was on up in Cleveland. He visited with the guys at 92.3, and here he is on the possibility of Kirk coming to Cleveland and what it could look like.
Yeah, I've known Kirk for a long time. He was my backup my senior year at Michigan State, and obviously he's gone on to have a tremendous career, puts up a lot of great stats, and has been paid rightfully so. And so last year, I think that was the hard thing, and coming off an Achilles injury, and the same thing, you look at Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron struggled in the beginning of the year, but as he got further and further away from that Achilles injury, that's a major injury for a quarterback, because you're constantly pushing off, and then pushing forward into the pocket to go throw the football. And it just seemed to me like Kirk didn't recover the way that he probably wanted to. And a lot of times, and the thing that I figured out during my career is if you have an injury somewhere, that can also lead to deterioration in other places. And so you're overcompensating for having to deal with an Achilles injury. Now does it become a shoulder issue? And we've seen that he came out and said that he was dealing with some issues that weren't really out in the media. And so I think you get another year away from that injury, you continue to rehab, build your strength back up. I think you could see Kirk Cousins get back to a level where he's more than a serviceable starter quarterback, goes in, he has experience with Kevin Stefanski. Now, the only thing I would say is I don't know if I'm willing to trade a draft pick and take on some of that contract. Now, does Atlanta say we'll pay half? I don't. There's a lot of ways around doing that. Also, I don't really see Atlanta keeping him as the backup quarterback at that number. So is it worth just kind of waiting out, and maybe that once he gets released, you're going to have first dibs to sign him? I don't know. There's these back channeling conversations that can be had to kind of get a feel for that.
I understand what he's saying, and I'm in his camp. I think that as much as Atlanta wants us to believe they're not moving on from him, I doubt they'd want to pay him $27.5 million to be their backup.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It makes sense for them to move on and start the salary cap savings process for future years. And you start unfurling that thing. But they've dug in. I mean, they're telling everyone that Cousins is staying on their team as their backup at that ridiculous price, because they basically say it's in their best interest to have it that way, unless they're worried about Penix and his health, and they've paid Cousins this money, and they feel like we can afford it. The quarterback's the most important position, and we'd rather have the two of them. Cousins is saying to them, I want to go start somewhere.
Absolutely. No doubt. And if you're the Browns, no matter who you acquire right now via the free agent market is a lottery ticket that you just got to hope hits. And to me, Kirk Cousins feels like the safest of the lottery tickets that are out there based off of what we've seen from him in the past. His, the chemistry he and Kevin Stefanski already have built together. And so that's the path that I would go down without having to give up draft capital to do so. This is strictly hey, they release him, we bring him in cheap, and let's go down that road with Kirk Cousins. Fellas, the road that you need to go down if you're not feeling good is the Columbus Men's Clinic, because they will take you right to where you need to be. They are the largest and most experienced men's health practice here in Columbus. For a decade, the Columbus Men's Clinic have done great things all day, every day, getting guys right back on track. It's all they specialize in, and they've gotten a lot better over the years. Higher success rates, better administrative and medical staff, more treatments, and more happy patients and partners. Their ED, low T, and weight loss treatments truly change lives, and their experience makes the difference. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400, or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
All right, we come back with ins and outs next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's the limited time tax sale. You buy 2 windows, you get 2 free, plus no interest until 2030 and an extra $500 off only in March. Call them today, 614-502-5220, universalwindowsdirect.com.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic.
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game. That's you taking another sip of your Do the Dew.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here, thinking I did something spectacular dropping 50 pounds, but then Steve pops in and dropped a whopping 150 pounds with Awaken 180 weight loss.
I got started because I was sick and tired of just being sick and tired all the time. Wanted more from life, and I knew that at my size, I wasn't being who I could be, who I want to be for not only myself, but for my wife. And I was like, something has got to change, and it's got to start soon. I mean, the program is so easy. Everything is really written down for you on your first day. Having someone there to help you and also keep you accountable, just having that someone to talk to, and even the fact that Awaken 180 offers free maintenance for life is amazing because our lives change on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And sometimes you need help figuring it out because keeping the weight off is a lifetime commitment.
A lifetime commitment is what you'll receive with Awaken 180. More than 50 pounds to lose like I did, or over 100 pounds like Steve, Awaken 180 can get you there and keep you there. Free support for life online at awaken180weightloss.com.
All of our local shows have been ranked in the top 10 in the country by our industry peers, except for Timmy Hall and the Buckeye Show. I was going to make a joke about it, but it's more sad than anything. Poor Timmy, the fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton. ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, another beauty of a day today. Sunny skies, highs around 70. You will notice a few more clouds creeping in this afternoon. Tonight's low 43. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 70. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present In or Out.
Just a little of the old in and out.
Indeed. All right, Stevie, what do you have prepared that will dazzle the eye and illuminate the mind?
All right, really quick, Jared. He knew the Browns were the team that flip-flopped in Schefter's head on the quarterback position in the draft. He's going to be joining us on Monday night.
Well done.
And let's start with Daniel Jones. He got 1 year, $14 million on a contract in the tampering period. And it's got to be a good life to be a backup quarterback, or maybe a backup quarterback, depending on if he beats out Anthony Richardson. But the question is, are you in or out on the Colts, the idea that the Colts overpaid for Daniel Jones?
I'm not. I feel like there's something there. I think 14 mil it's a little higher than normal, but he's still in his 20s, and I think playing in the Dome in Indy in that division, I think there's less pressure. I think it's more for him to be able to control. He can beat out this kid. I don't know if this will turn into a bargain or not, Matty, but it feels like this is I don't want to call it a bargain, but it's a 1 year deal. They're not married to him long term. If he plays well, Richardson plays poorly or gets injured or whatever, then he's got a chance to cash in. I think it's a pretty decent number. I don't think it's crazy.
They're putting Anthony Richardson on notice. That's what this is. Like we took you very high in the draft. We bet on potential. The availability has been questionable. His play has even been more questionable out there on the field. And so franchises aren't going to stick around for a long time and give you a whole bunch of rope. I think what the Colts are betting on is some of that Minnesota Vikings magic, right? Vikings, 1 for 10 last year for Sam Darnold? You hope that you take a shot in the dark on a guy that's bounced around a little bit, was a former first-round pick, and hopefully you get him in your building and you can figure something out there. We shall see. We know what Daniel Jones is. He always has some of those games where it's like, oh, something there. Athletic ability. He's got a decent arm. He's got the frame and all that. He's just been a roller coaster ride. So, CB, to answer your question, when it comes to the overpaid part of it, I don't think they did, especially when we're living in a world where quarterbacks are getting $55, $60 million. I don't think it's an overpay. And, yeah, shout out to Daniel Jones. First contract in the league, 4 years, $25 million. Second contract he got from the Giants, 4 years, $160 million.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you. I'm in on that it's a little high for a backup, but it has the ability to, if he's good and he plays, that maybe they could re-sign him and he could cash in for big money. I just think it's a 1 year, so it's not anything that I'm going to get crazy about. Like you said, Richardson going into year 3, it's time to go. And if he doesn't, they feel like they have a guy with experience backing him up.
Yep.
All right, number 2, we can see why Vlad Guerrero Jr. did not agree to a deal with the Blue Jays before the deadline, because he wants millions and 500 of them on a potential future deal, $500 million. Are you in or out on a team seeing that he's worth $500 million?
Wow. Because of the world that we now live in, AR, where a guy like Juan Soto gets $700+ million, I look at that, and Vlad Guerrero Jr. is in that ballpark. Not 700, but maybe 450 to 5. Just because now where that bar is set, because Juan Soto isn't Shohei Ohtani, as we all know, right? So you're talking Shohei, you're getting the 2-for-1 special. Juan Soto's a tremendous hitter, but that's what he is. He's just a hitter. So you're paying for a guy that's going to be a DH at some point, that's going to make in totality over $700+ million. So you talk about $200 million less than that deal, and because of Vlad, his age, the power, and all that, I think he is worth it, even though I wouldn't want to make that bet personally. So I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out. I don't know whether this is me just talking. I don't know how I could pay a first baseman that amount of money. I just think we're learning now in baseball that these first basemen are like running backs in the NFL. And I'm not saying you can replace him easily, but CB tags him with a $500 million contract. That to me is, you better be producing big time. And I think that first base, fairly replaceable position. It's pretty low on the defensive spectrum. It's not a $500 million man.
He's 25. That's what works for him. That's what works for him. I mean, he was cooking early. He had a 48 home run season. I mean, he has been 30 and 100 the last few years. So that doesn't just fall off trees. So that's very valuable. But I hear what you're saying. And Shohei Ohtani has made all this tough for everybody, right? Just based off of the skills that he brings. And so, yeah, he's got age on his side. He's got enough productivity on his side to where if it's not $500 million, CB, I think it'll be fairly close to that. But I'm with AR. I'm out.
All right, number 3, Von Miller exits Buffalo. Insert Joey Bosa. My question is, are you in or out on the Bills having a top 5 defensive line with the addition of Bosa?
I'm out. I can't trust the health right now. I think he's an upgrade from Von Miller for sure as a health standpoint, if he can be that way. But let me pull up their roster. I mean, Ed Oliver had a great season. Rousseau is very good.
Yeah, he's nice.
They re-signed Daquan Jones. That was a big move. I don't think that launches them into the top 5 because they just think there's too many questions right now about Bosa's health. I like the signing for him. He's going to a very good team. Like I said, he's an upgrade over Vaughn. But I think that you and I would probably, in my mind, I could probably name Cleveland with Miles coming back, Detroit with Hutchinson coming back, the Eagles for sure.
I still want Pittsburgh's gang, too. Hayward, Highsmith, Watt.
Yeah.
So they're outside the Philadelphia's D-line.
They're not top 5.
No, they're not top 5, but it's a quality group. It definitely is a quality group. You brought up what's the most important factor in all this. Joey Bosa the last 3 years, 5 games, 9 games, 14 games. So availability is the best ability. He ain't bringing much of that to the party right now. So for a contending team, they get him out there healthy. We know the dude can go. We know the skill is there. But yes, CB, I'm not seeing top 5. One of the worst contracts that's been handed out in the league over the last few years is the deal Buffalo handed over to Von Miller. That was 6 years for $120, and they got nothing out of that.
Yep.
Nothing out of that.
All right, next up, I think Matty Ice and I talked this one into existence yesterday after the show. We mentioned how the Ravens like to get veteran wide receivers maybe a little bit past their prime, or maybe, in some opinions, maybe done. Yeah. But we'll see with DeAndre Hopkins. He joins the Ravens. Are you in or out on Hopkins being a strong wide receiver one option for the Ravens?
I'm out, CB. My hope as a Ravens fan is that he can be a decent number 3.
Oh.
In this offense, because that's
behind Bateman and Zay.
And then you're talking Derek and Likely and Andrews, and
Andrews is still there.
No, for now. for now, CB. But if you told me right now, D-Hop brought in anywhere between 35 to 45 receptions on the year and a couple touchdowns, like I wouldn't be mad at that. They don't need him to be a savior. They drafted Zay to be the guy. And there's other guys ahead of him right now they're going to eat. And we know Lamar and Derek are going to carry most of the load. So, yeah, he's not going to be a wide receiver 1, but I think he can be a decent wide receiver 3 for him.
The Ravens break the huddle. Tylan Wallace splits wide to the left. Bateman wide to the right. Derrick Henry in the backfield. Isaiah Likely comes in motion, sets in the slot to the right. For the tie, the 2-point conversion. Lamar takes the snap, rolls to the right, throws, complete. No! He dropped it. Mark Andrews hit him in the hands. And Mark Andrews dropped it as he fell into the end zone.
All I got to say is y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right.
The worst thing and the worst thing and the best thing you can say as an announcer, and he didn't add the one phrase that we've added forever, which is he hit him in a bad spot, the hands. When you say you hit him right in the hands, like you could have just kept it as he dropped it, but you're doing radio. So you have to describe whether it was catchable or not, or whether it was on the quarterback or him. So I'm glad he did add he hit him in the hands. Now, he was falling backwards, but he's not lying.
You got to catch it.
Yeah, if you wanted to get back at me, you could probably cut up the Mike Tirico Monday night game where Will Hill took back the kick. Oh, yeah. That's probably your option.
That's tough. But
we all have to have one.
Yeah, it's humbling.
Yeah, well, we got to play that about 800 more times to get up to Paul Allen.
Exactly. What do you think of D-Hop, though? Wide receiver 3 in Baltimore?
I'm surprised you put him at 3. I thought at 33 years old, he could still. He's going to get he's got the top flight quarterback and all that.
He looked a little Tide Poddish.
He did not have a great year last year.
He didn't. Yeah. But yeah,
I like Bateman.
The weaponry they have is pretty strong on paper. It looks good now.
All right, we come back with our friend Bobby Carpenter, king of the TikTok. We'll ask him next in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony used to ski in his jeans? Are you serious? No, he's not from New Jersey. Back to Rothman and Ice.
Didn't have to be. As I said to my boy Bill in Lake Tahoe that year, he said, if you fall, it's going to suck. And I said, I don't fall. Didn't happen.
There's a flex.
That's how you can ski in your jeans, Bobby Carpenter. My man, how you feeling?
It's one of the great pictures of all time, Matty. I mean, it literally looks like it's out of a magazine. Like who? It's like because nobody would wear that on the slopes.
That's right.
Because it looks sweet. Because like you have a sweet pair of like acid wash jeans on up there, and like, who the heck would be wearing those except for our guy who It's all about confidence, Matty. You know, I had a coach once tell me when I was slipping, I was like, Coach, it's wet out there. You know, it's slick. He goes, athletes don't fall down. I'm like, wow, that really, like, it was a shot right to the heart. But I want to say this. We talked a little bit earlier, and this completely eluded me. Today is March 12th, and it is the 46th birthday of one
That's
Ryan Day. And
we were saving it for the bulletin, but I'm glad you did. That's okay.
I'm going to tease you right into the bulletin, Rothman. I mean, this is going to be some long foreplay, but listen, I mean, Ryan Day, a big happy birthday to him. Enjoying this. You know, there's a lot of haters that were out there, and it's amazing. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the Michigan fans during, you know, Tress and Urban's early run, you know, as they were winning all these games. Like, you were here in the 90s, Rothman. They just kind of like slithered back into their holes, and now they're like back out and they're ready to go again, and they're feeling real ballsy and real emboldened. And that was kind of like, you know, the Ryan Day haters. They were just climbing out of there, you know, like just climbing up the side walls, kind of like a Stranger Things, like little animals. And then, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you're ready just to finish him off. And like he just has the power burst, and like a video game just slices through all of them, and, you know, goes and wins his title. And so four games later, all of a sudden, you know, he's a made man, he's safe, and he's good to go. And so it's a big happy birthday for him, the first one as a national champion, the fifth coach in Ohio State history to win that national championship. And so a huge happy birthday to Ryan Day.
I agree, man. Happy birthday to Ryan Day. It was a little bit like Oberyn and the Mountain, right? Like,
yes.
He just kind of lulled you into thinking you were dancing on his grave a little bit. Yeah.
All of a sudden, he swept the leg at Tennessee, and you're like, oh, no, this isn't look good at all.
And he squashed everybody the rest of the way.
That's just when you thought he was going to get out, Matty, that was that 3rd and 11 when he puts the thumbs through the eyes and the blood starts coming out, and you know that it's over.
That's a sound effect I will never forget. Unfortunately, yesterday, Bob, we were reacting to The Athletic. They put out their top 25 head coaches around the sport, and Ryan came in at 2, and Kirby was right there at 1. And I don't know if there's going to be a lot of pushback for that. But when you look at the landscape going into 2025, and I throw this at you, the coach that you believe has a decent amount of pressure on him to get things going or get back to what he used to be around the sport, who is that guy for you?
Tell me, Matty, can we get things back the way they used to be? I'm down on bended knee. Like, is this where we're at?
Yeah.
I mean, is that Boys to Men?
I think that is Boys to Men.
I believe.
I think it is.
That's circa like me back in junior high singing that to my girlfriend.
There you go.
It's what's interesting in this is you have Ryan Day, you have obviously not Dan Lanning, you have Kirby Smart at the top, then Ryan Day, and like Dan Lanning's in 5th. I want to say on that list, and our boy at Texas, what the heck is his name?
Yep.
Sark is at 3rd. Who is at 4th on that list, Matty?
Well, it depends whose list you were looking at, because it was Feldman and Mandel, and they were different. We went on Feldman's that went Kirby, Ryan Day, Dabo, Sark, Kalen DeBoer, then Marcus Freeman, then Dan Lanning.
One of them had Marcus down at 10, but here's the interesting thing. You know, Ryan last year, I think on one of those lists was 7. And like those guys like you know, even Kirby was kind of there before he won his national championship. But you start looking at Dan Lanning and some of the guys like that, and Sark, and they're up there like in the top 5. And then like every successive year where you don't get it done, you kind of start sliding down a little bit. You know, and Dan Lanning and Sark are like the darlings right now, and everything's going good. But I'm just curious as if they don't win it all like 2-3 years from now, Rothman, like what's the narrative? Like, how does that look, Matty? Are those guys still that, or are they kind of like Ryan where, hey, you're a really good coach, but you just can't get it done until you ultimately do? And so I mean, I don't think anybody has a problem with Kirby being there, and but he got bounced in the quarterfinals this year. I think Marcus should probably be climbing that. I mean, he won some tough games and went a long road and beat Penn State at the end. Ironically, they had James Franklin above Marcus. I know that he's more senior and tenured, but they played each other in a big environment. And Marcus, it wasn't like you would say one team was discernibly better than the other. I could even make the argument that Penn State was probably better, and Marcus came and got him.
Listen, these are all, there's a little recency bias, even though Feldman said he didn't. How can you not? It's human nature. If Lanning plays Ohio State, Lanning went into the playoff undefeated, he won the Big Ten. If he doesn't get slaughtered by Ohio State and Marcus doesn't make the run all the way to the championship, there's no way he's slotting Marcus over him. I wouldn't think so, but I think he gave a little bit of credence to what Marcus did and gelled that team at the right time, and then Lanning kind of fell flat in a massive game in the playoffs. So, listen, this is one guy's opinion. It's all fluid. What did you think of what Rich Rod came in and did right out of the gate with the banning of the TikTok dancing? Not that his players can't go on the app. He just doesn't want them being the star of the featured film.
I don't have a problem with that. Rothman, because you and Wahlberg, or Dirk, if you will, you're the biggest bleeping star in here. So that's a big deal. So you understand what that stardom is like. But I don't hate this because it's gotten a little excessive, and maybe it's, hey, if you want to do it on your own time, okay. But guys are doing them in the locker room, they're doing them around the facility, and I think his line was, if we want to have a hard edge, you want to have a degree of toughness. Now, Rich Rod's a tough coach, and he did a heck of a job his first time around at West Virginia. People, they kind of look, it's a little bit like Matt Patricia, like his time at Michigan, where Patricia was in Detroit, they kind of muddied the waters. If you remember what he did and what he had with, Devine and all those, Pac-Man played for him. They had some tough dudes that were a little edgy. Pat White, they were good. And so he wants them to have that hard edge at West Virginia. It's all right, I know that's generationally a little bit different. I'm not saying don't be on there, but guys, can we ease off the choreographed dances, hanging out in the locker room with just some dudes in tights just dancing around here a little bit?
I'm with you. Listen, I come from a different generation. Maddie, you know where he was going with this, and you're kind of in the middle. It's a perfect little dichotomy we have here.
Am I the lucky Pierre?
That's right. You might be. But yeah, I think this is not about focus. It's about identity. And I just think how you present yourselves to the world is maybe how you'll be. And I think he wants them to kind of act as if. A little Ben Affleck, little boiler room reference there. I think act as if. That you're the toughest team in America. Well, and I don't want to see you dancing in your spandex on TikTok. That's essentially what he said.
I know. And so, do you remember Dancegate at Ohio State? That's why they weren't tough, and this is that. And CJ was doing it, and Kyle was doing it. And it's that's why we can't win these games. I'm I don't know if that's the reason or not.
It's not. Of course, that's what Maddie and I said. It is plain results. It's absolutely. Because what do coaches want most out of their team? To play loose and free and not paralyzed. So if that makes them feel that way, but he came in with an agenda, and we'll see if it pays off. I don't know. Maybe you can do that now, Bob, in an era where the recruiting is a lot more about the money than it may be about the coach you're playing for.
That's what the paycheck's for, Rothman. If you stack it high enough on the nightstand, you can do whatever you want.
Hey, I want to ask you quickly about, spring ball is right around the corner. CJ Hicks, Bobby, and looking at the talent that's there, the role that he could play coming into this year. What are your thoughts on where we could see him lining up on defense this year, and what do you think he's got in the tank?
You said defense. I thought you were going to maybe throw offense, special teams, just bouncing around. CJ's one of the most gifted athletes that I've been around. He can really do a lot of stuff. He's a really smart kid, a really great young man. And everyone's when's he going to play? When's this? And then people start getting down on him. Listen, everybody's got their own time. And frankly, it's it's a fit situation. So I think they've talked about moving up with Larry Johnson now, working the edge. He was rushing a lot in bowl practice. He did a heck of a job down there. He's really stinking good at it. And it's okay. Not everybody can do everything. There's guys that are good edge players There's guys that are better off the ball players. There's some guys that can do a little bit of both. But, like, if you just can't do one or the other, that doesn't mean that you're not skilled at this or you can't do that. It's like you're just more equipped. And so this will be more equipped for what CJ does really well. He's a guy, point him in the right direction, and let's go. Like, he understands the defense. He understands things. But sometimes guys, like, just the processing and seeing stuff, like, they want to go now. And, like, they're not – it's just the patience with it, and it's not a bad thing. Like, everybody acts like, wow, you know, what, he can't, not smart enough. No, he knows that CJ's as smart as you find, but he is an edge-of-line player. He has great athleticism. He's super smart, and this will be perfect for him. I think you're going to – I mean, I'm not going to call him like Micah Parsons or, you know, Carter or any of these guys yet, but I think you're going to see a lot. And I think Matt Patricia is kind of the guy that maybe can unlock a little bit of this with him and Tim Walton in this scheme too.
Quickly, what's your opinion on this spring showcase versus a game?
Oh, haven't we kind of been in showcase mode like the last 5 or 6 years? I mean, Rothman, remember when I played there? There was 3.5 hours, 15-minute quarters. It was awful. Like, nobody wanted to see that.
Drafting
crap.
players and all, right.
It's terrible. Like, so, I mean, one year, Urban had Troy Smith out there throwing footballs and Kerry Combs racing 40s.
That's
like,
right.
I mean, was that not a carnival? True. I mean, I call it celebration.
Yes.
Okay? The painting was a gift, Rothman.
Sexual and violent. Well, but they don't need to get anything more out of that final Saturday.
Here's the thing. I think you're going to see some of the guys that need to play. They said there's 3 groups. There's the dudes who have played a lot, the dudes who have been here who haven't played, and the guys who just got here. Those second 2 groups, I think you're going to see them do some controlled stuff and try to see what they've got, see who can play. And, you know, there's going to be some live 11 on 11, like tackling like to the ground. But they're going to work some situations and all that so they can get these guys ready. And they lost a lot of players. So you want to get these guys ready in an environment with like 70 to 100,000 people, and that's what that's going to be about.
All right, enjoy your vacation. May I recommend a stroll to the Hidden Waterfall? Might you recommend putting honey in my ears and having me fall asleep on an anthill? All right, enjoy your time, man.
I will love it. It's always great talking to you guys.
It really is.
See you, man.
We'll continue. All right, that's Carp on his way out to vacay, and we will be on our way to the Buckeye Bulletin. What does Vegas think about Ohio State's chances against Iowa tonight? We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And Bet and Reduce Juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Jerry.
You know, as much as I enjoy being a professional inventor, a few of my dream inventions still elude me.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, the bruiseless avocado.
Ooh.
The unlosable TV remote.
Could change the world.
And for you, Aaron, the uncloggable drain.
Get Eco.
Until you crack it, Jerry. You know our 93 free drain clearing offer is the next best thing.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Get Eco.
Our drain team will clear your drain for just $93. If we can't clear it, it's free. And we guarantee it'll stay clear for at least a year, or we will clear it again for free.
Get Eco.
We'll even send our little robot camera down there to make sure you don't have a larger problem that could cause more trouble in the future.
Get Eco.
You think your guys could bring that robot over to my place and help me find that TV remote?
I think that's impossible even for us.
Get Eco.
Eco, plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this.
Burgers deserve Pepsi.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's time to sign up for the Fan at 10 TV Bracket Challenge.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew, Ohio bottled, Buckeye bold.
The most accurate bracket takes home 1,000 smackers. Reserve your spot now and compete against your favorite fan and 10 TV personalities. And compete against the ones you hate, too. Head to 971thefan.com for all the fun. Yay! March is fun. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Progressive knows there's so many great things about being a sports fan. Like scoring the company box seats. How great is that? Trick plays that actually work. Prevent defense when your team is winning by a lot. And even more preventative prevent defense as they're hanging on by a thread. And of course, saving money when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's pretty great. Just like trick plays that actually work.
Yeah, but how often does that happen?
Complaining about sports. Not so great. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Feeling the chill? Call the experts at Logan Services now for hot deals on Train furnaces, including 0% APR for 60 months.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. Sometimes lines are funny. They jump out to me as maybe being a little too good to be true. And I was looking at Ohio State tonight, only lane 5. Now, they're a very difficult team to figure out. Everybody knows that. And you're going to a neutral floor against Iowa. But I go back to how they treated Iowa the last time they played them. And they treated them like their own personal hand puppet. There was a lot of balanced scoring for Ohio State. The turnovers were limited. They were up by, I think, 25 at one point in the game. Now, the game was here. And so the question you're going to ask me is, well, what's Iowa done since then? Not a whole lot.
Okay.
Not a whole lot. Like, it wasn't the big wake-up call. They played a little better at Purdue, lost. Played a little better against Wisconsin, lost. Got cracked over the head at Maryland. Lost a tight one to Oregon. Beat Washington, no big deal. Got cracked at Illinois by 20. Lost at Northwestern by double digits. Actually played Michigan State very tough, but lost by 7. They do go into this game, and this is where I'm thrown now for a loop, as they took Nebraska and turned them inside out. And Nebraska presumably was still fighting. And that was at Nebraska. So now I can't figure out anything. But I actually think that them lane 5 isn't a bad deal, but that's what Vegas thinks. And they also think it'll be a decent scoring game, probably somewhere in the mid to high 70s or higher.
You know, when we started previewing Buckeye basketball prior to these guys touching the hardwood, one guy that was supposed to be a big part of this is Aaron Bradshaw. And one thing that's been a thorn in their side the last few games and throughout the season has been rebounding. And in these type of games where you're in a situation right now for Ohio State to where you're kind of in, but you're not really locked into the tournament, it's all about cleaning up second chance opportunities. So today, like, that's going to be a big part of my focus, and hopefully Aaron Bradshaw coming to the table and being a beast on the glass. Because, you know, you look at last game, Stewart was in foul trouble, but Aaron Bradshaw, who's a 7-footer, he only grabbed 1 rebound in the game. And in the last 4 games for Aaron Bradshaw, he's had 1 rebound in each of those games. And so you gave up 14 offensive rebounds to Indiana. And in a game like this against an opponent that you should beat according to Vegas, I think that's got to be a big piece of this, especially when you look at the offense that has gone hot and cold. Last 5-6 minutes of the game against the Hoosiers, they didn't make a bucket. And so if that's going to be the case, it's on the bigs, I think, today. Stewart, stay out of foul trouble. Bradshaw, get on the boards and get busy. And so for Aaron Bradshaw, I mean, he's only had 2 games this year where he's brought down 5 or more rebounds. To me, that's kind of inexcusable.
Last time I checked, he's pretty tall.
There you go. So you got to get in there and get after it. So the talent is there, but I think his effort on the boards today, amongst many of other things in this game, but that for me is, I think, if they're going to bring it home and get this one done, I think Aaron Bradshaw's got to be a big part of what they do in the rebounding category.
All right, we'll hear from Coach Jake here now. The interesting part about all this is all these Ohio brands are right there on the bubble, and 2 are going to get bursted right out of there. Cincy, Dayton, give me another one of those. Exactly. Maybe Xavier, Ohio State, they got to win.
Well, what's ironic about this is I saw Lunardi had Ohio State as the final team in, the last team in of the last 4 in. What could be interesting is Dayton has a chance to be a bid stealer. If they do win the A-10 tournament, they beat VCU, they put 2 teams in from that conference. It could be Dayton that could kick out Ohio State if it plays out how it's being looked right now.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was going to say, Jake kind of reduced it to this. They know they have to win tonight.
We need to control what we can control, and that's Wednesday's game. I was going to play, their best ball of the year. We're anticipating that. We need to do the same. And, our focus is right now is on Wednesday, and that's it. We know this is a big game for all the obvious reasons. There's no hiding from that, but, we need to play well.
All right, well, he leans into it. The weird part is he knows he has to win tonight, but he also thinks they should be in the tournament.
I think our resume is good. It's certainly, we've had some opportunities where we could have enhanced it even more, but our strength of schedule, the quality of wins, the quad 1 wins we have, like all of that stuff stacks up in a really, really good way. So it's life on the bubble, right? Every game's important. We know that. But, there's also a Big Ten tournament championship that somebody's going to win, and we want to give our best shot at that too. We got to control what we can control, and it starts with Wednesday.
6 quad 1 wins, but they're 6-11 overall in quad 1. They've got some nice wins. He's right. The overall record, though, is nothing to write home about.
No.
It's 17-14 and 9-11 in your conference is not usually punching your ticket to the dance.
Right.
He did pick off a couple nice ones earlier in the year with Texas and Kentucky. Those were nice. And he's found a way to get them to this opportunity, Maddie, of getting in. And so he's also optimistic that they can make a postseason run.
I think we have great versatility offensively. We have multiple guys who are capable of having a big night. We've showed that. We've played with a toughness and a connectedness defensively that has really, propelled us in some games that we've shown we're capable of. And we're certainly going to need both of those this week. And, I also think there's a ceiling we haven't reached from a bench production standpoint that, when you look at, okay, where can you gain an edge? That's an area we could see increased production there that could raise our level. So, I'm really excited about where our mindset is and, how connected we are going into this tournament and what's ahead of us.
Yeah, it puts so much on the plates of, Parrish, Thornton, Mobley, and Royal when the bench productivity isn't there, and it hasn't been. And so I'd be surprised if we see that now. You never know. It is March Madness and crazier things have happened, but a lot is on the plate, obviously, of Bruce Thornton. Last game over in Bloomington, 2 of 11 for 9 points. Based off of the standard that he set, that ain't going to cut it. And I'm sure he can't wait to get out there tonight and correct that wrong offensively, because he is the tone setter. I believe as he goes, the team goes. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Bruce brings to the floor tonight.
All right, there's your Buckeye Bulletin. We'll come back. Sports Center update here, top of the hour. We'll get into our deep dive and the free agency, the best moves, and we'll rank them. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Your morning just got beefier. Morning Juice with Beamer, Bobby, and Shark.
Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hoops fans, are you ready to score big and get lucky this March? What's up? It's T-Bone. I'm here to tell you that Bud Light will be holding mini hoops challenges at bars and restaurants across town over the next several weeks, with one goal in mind: to send one lucky local winner to Las Vegas, where they'll compete for $10,000. Take your shot at March Madness glory. This week, join Bud Light on Thursday night as they take over Pastimes New Albany on North Hamilton Road. They'll be there from 8 to 10 p.m., and they'll have a mini hoops basketball challenge that'll give you a shot at a Vegas trip and $10,000.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Common Man and T-Bone here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Bone, did you know that March has a lot of college basketball?
Why, yes, I did, Common Man. And the best place to watch all the action and play the action is at Hollywood Casino. You can reserve your table now at HollywoodColumbus.com.
Not only that, every Saturday in March is UFC Fight Night. They're showing every fight on the big screen. Watching at home is boring. Don't be boring.
All the action happens at ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hey, it's Anthony, and I've got a fitting personalized for you. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand your unique lifestyle, your daily routines, and most importantly, the pain that brought you in to see them in the first place. If your feet ache after a long day or that discomfort starts radiating through your knees, your hips, your back, I've been there. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And they're working for me. I walked all over the place in New Orleans covering the big game. I was loving it. I literally was walking for miles around the French Quarter, Canal Street, everywhere, because I had my personally fit arch supports in my shoes. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. I want you to be one of them. Go in, take the free test walk. They're immediately available. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City, or goodfeet.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail 365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
They say great customer service is a thing of the past, but not at Newman Roofing. Quality products, expert installers, and a team you can trust is the core foundation at Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF today to have your roofing, siding, or gutters replaced this spring, or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Finding the right employee for your company is tough. One wrong hire can be a major setback.
You're not alone if you face this. A recent survey by Robert Half shows nearly half of hiring managers readily admit to making a bad hire. Luckily, there's a solution. With Robert Half's specialized recruiter's experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can have the right skilled professional in place quickly. We understand what it takes to build winning teams because at Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. Well, that Blue Jackets game did not go the way we wanted it to last night. The Devils hand the CBJ a 5-3 loss. You knew it wasn't going well when the score at the end of the first period was 3-0. That slow start for the Jackets was a hurdle that they could not overcome, and this team concludes their 4-game road stretch going 1-3. And it ain't getting much easier because the next time the Jackets take the ice will be tomorrow against the Vegas, who leads the Pacific. And, of course, it'll be airing right here on The Fan. And the Big Ten Conference Tournament starts today for the men. We got 3 first-round games today. Ohio State has a date with Iowa at 6 o'clock, also right here on The Fan. Ohio State is the 10 seed. Iowa is the 15. And should Ohio State win this matchup, they will play the 7 seed Illinois Fighting Illini tomorrow. Tournament hopes for the Buckeyes are heavily reliant on this week's performance, and we're all just counting down to Selection Sunday this weekend. This update is brought to you by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, third hour of the program, Hockey and Hounds, coming bottom of the hour with Z as he takes his afternoon nap, and then we'll wake him up, and he'll jump on the air and talk about the big homestand that's coming up that starts tomorrow. All right, they had listen, I talked about it at the beginning of the show. New Jersey jumped them, and they crawled back in it because they're talented and they have heart and they have an identity and they're not going to give up. There are a couple of bad bounces, but there are also a couple turnovers that I'm sure Z will talk about that kind of set Jersey in motion. But I thought the Devils played that game like they desperately needed it, and so I'm going to give them credit. Sometimes you just say, hey, you ran into a good team on road ice, but the Jackets have had their trouble on the road. It would have been nice to get that one. They got the one against the Rangers. You couldn't go over, so that's what made that Rangers game so important. And they've had a tough schedule. This is going to be a grind. I said it before, and I'll ask him at 2:30. Sometimes when you go from could to should, and maybe they haven't done that in their minds because they don't play that game like we do, but I think the fan base has. Oh, yeah. I think after the Stadium Series, I got a vibe in this town. It's no longer could they make the playoffs, it's they should make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And they did have a spot locked down, and they were playing great hockey, and there was no reason to believe that they can't. So that's kind of where they are. But I kept reminding myself that, 20, 21 games may sound like nothing. That's a long way to go, no doubt, especially with teams fighting like they are. And then through the playoff deadline, the trade deadline, rather, Don keeping the team mostly intact, adding a couple pieces, kind of leaning into what they are, and they've been a very good story. So let's snap back at home. I mentioned earlier they've scored more goals at home on home ice than any team in the NHL this season. So it's time to get back to that, and they'll have to do it against Vegas.
No doubt, and they're comfy at home. They're really good at home, so this couldn't come at a better time. Talked about that tough trip down to Florida against a couple good teams. And so, look, you took it on the chin a little bit, right? You got one back, I believe, with the Rangers. You put up 7 on the board there. Then you had the game last night to where, like you highlighted, man, didn't go your way right out of the gate. The second period has been good to them all year long, but I'm sure Z will just talk about getting off to better starts, playing clean hockey right out of the gate and giving yourselves an opportunity late. So the mental focus of this team moving forward, I'm not worried about. The fight, I'm not worried about, especially when you got a guy like Z who we know is very level-headed with his emotions and how he goes about it. He's going to be one of the guys the young guys can look to in a time like this to where the L's aren't The L's are coming up pretty quickly over the last 4 games in the wrong way. Z's a guy that can lead the charge and get this thing right back on track.
Here's Boone kind of putting the tone into words.
We got a few games at home now, so we'll learn from this. And big game Thursday at home, and like I said, a little stretch at home where we got to raise our level and take care of business at home. So looking forward to it.
All right, let's hope they do. Speaking of business, it was funny. Josh Allen had a conversation, kind of a back and forth on the perception of taking less in an extension. And he actually said, what's $5 more million going to do for my life that I can't already do right now? It's not that crazy to me. I live a pretty good life. I wasn't looking to kill them at every chance I could. I told my agent that. It almost makes it sound like he got rolled. Like that I gave him some kind of hometown discount at $250 million guaranteed. You haven't won a Super Bowl yet, man. I think that's probably what you should have got. What he's saying to you is, I probably could have gotten more.
Probably.
Yeah.
And he may be one of those deals we look at 3-4 years from now and say, because this is how it works, right? I didn't think post Deshaun Watson we'd be talking about a quarterback that got that amount of money guaranteed. I did not see that coming. Josh is in that. He's in that inner circle. He is. So the elite quarterbacks, like you said, though, it's all about that Lombardi. But, hey, when you got the gatekeeper and the Night King over there in Kansas City, it's tough to get to that game, let alone win it. And so Joe Lamar, Josh and Herbert and CJ and all these guys know, hey, it's put up or shut up time when it comes to going out to Arrowhead, because usually you're going to have to play an AFC Championship game in their backyard. It's tough.
I think what we've learned over the years is the really good ones can play deep into their 30s, and that these contracts now, these teams aren't afraid, and he's a physical quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
But they're not afraid.
He's got the frame.
They're not afraid. 35 years old was an old quarterback back in the time.
And also, like, you look at Josh, he's every bit of 6'5", 6'6", 230, 240, somewhere in that window. No matter how big you are as a quarterback, you don't want to put yourselves in harm's way. But if there is a guy that can absorb some of those blows better than other quarterbacks, he's cut from a different cloth. He's in rare air with that aspect of his game.
So they're going to get him from age 28 to 34 now. So that's right in his prime.
Yep.
And now, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, and I don't know if owners look at it this way, you pay that amount of money, you got to have a Lombardi. Like you feel like that. You feel it. There's no guarantee.
That's the hope.
But I do think if you get to the end of this 6 years and they haven't won one, I'm not going to put it all on him. But when you're paying a guy $250 million guaranteed,
you hope that you grab your one.
You hope the investment is there.
One.
I mean, they got to put a team. They got to keep a team around him and do all that good stuff and keep him healthy and get him the weapons he needs. But it's kind of on them now too. But if we get to the end of this one, it's kind of like I look at it a little differently than I even look at Cincinnati, because I don't know why I have more faith in Buffalo than I have in Cincinnati. It should be about even. I think maybe the ownership, I just feel maybe better about Buffalo's chances. Then I kind of worry about Cincinnati now. Like with Joe, is he going to want to be there and all that stuff? I hope so. We'll see how this plays out. But if they hand Jamar Chase the money we think they're going to hand him, then Joe should be happy that he has his number one guy. Not every quarterback can have multiple massive weapons, but here we are. And I just thought that was funny when he said, I told my agent not to beat him up too much. What'd you wind up getting, Josh? $250 million guaranteed. Wasn't that the most in the history of ever? Yeah, but I just didn't. I told my agent, don't roll him too badly.
Kind of tone deaf.
It was a little bit of a humble brag kind of. Yeah, it was kind of one of those. Like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, no. Like the money, and that's not even including the endorsement deals I'm sure he has that are through the roof.
What's $5 more million going to do for my life?
That's what I'm saying. Like that line right there.
He's telling us he left $5 million on the table.
You don't need to say that. You don't need to say that
publicly. I gave him a discount.
Yeah, come on.
Come on. Instead of $255, I settled for $250.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, there's a great scene in an old movie, Maddie. Called Heaven Can Wait. It was a remake, but then I'm talking about one like from late 70s, and the owner of the LA Rams is being, he doesn't want to sell the team, and Warren Beatty is trying to buy the team from him. And I think he says, he's like, man, that he got my team. He got my team. He's like, what kind of pressure did he use? Well, I asked for $50 million, and he said, okay. Basically, it was like, I asked for so much more than they never thought or whatever it was. And that's kind of, Allen had all the leverage. All right, so, we talked about the San Francisco 49ers.
What is going on out there?
I may be wrong about this. I had them as my bounce-back team. Yeah. And now, all of a sudden, they sit out free agency. We're good so far. I mean, their biggest signing is our boy. Right, CB, the former Luke Farrell? I think they signed him. Good for him. I saw he got a contract of like 3 years for $20 million. It really doesn't account for much because they got rid of Debo, who was traded, and some other guy, even Kyle Juszczyk, who everyone loved out there. So all of a sudden now, Purdy is going to be asking for crazy money, and I don't think he's going to be worth everything he asks for.
That's why this is happening.
Because they got to pay Brock Purdy $50 million a year?
Somewhere in that ballpark. That's why this is happening. They've had the luxury the last 2 to 3 years of having Mr. Irrelevant's contract on their books. And because he's one of those quarterbacks, AR, that's done just enough to get in that $40, $50 million club, and that check has come due. And so now they looked at this roster. We all looked at this roster and said, man, they got dudes all over the place. Well, you could afford to keep those guys because of Brock Purdy's deal. And so now that he and his agent and the team are figuring out a contract extension, you got to make these difficult decisions. So the outlook for them does look different. Now, maybe they crush a draft and have a sneaky signing here or there to put them in place, and they still have really good players on that team, but it doesn't look as stacked as it did last year and the year prior. So there are some people out there that are tabbing the San Francisco 49ers as losers right now of the offseason so far.
That's right.
Yeah. And so, look, a lot of love that's being shown is for your Minnesota Vikings. And I know where you're at. You're tough on your team, and rightfully so. But they're doing some good things. I think both teams in the NFC North, that being the Vikings and the Bears, are doing everything they can to put structure around their quarterback, especially on the offensive line. I think you guys brought in a couple D linemen as well. Right. So I like that. Look, J.J. McCarthy, we don't know what we're getting. Nobody does, so I understand the pessimism around that.
Well, I don't even know if it's pessimism. I just think it's maybe a lack of crazy optimism because he looked decent in the preseason and he got injured.
AR, I want you to have a proclivity for positivity about J.J. McCarthy. I know that's going to be hard to do.
No. I actually am one of those people that's not pessimistic. I'm just not in the...
It's a slam dunk.
I know exactly what they have.
That's totally fair. But I think the Bears, Joe Tooney, Jonah Jackson, those guys, they brought in a center too. The playmakers they have. If Caleb Williams is that dude, and he's supposed to be, they should hit the ground running, at least on offense, especially now with Ben Johnson as their head coach coming over from Detroit, as they're now former OC. So I like what Chicago and Minnesota have done down in the trenches. It's not sexy, but that's the key right there to a lot of good things.
They've done a lot more than the Packers have done.
No doubt. Yeah.
They really haven't done much at all. All right, we'll come back with a little pre-snap read, and we'll check in on a certain receiver who's going to elevate everything. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
1-800-GOT-JUNK makes space for possibilities.
When our clean, shiny truck arrives, it's the sign of a new beginning, a clean start, a breath of fresh air.
All the animals start giggling, a rainbow appears, and music fills the air.
Your best friend calls with happy news. Every table has fresh flowers on it, and your nights are full of candlelight.
We bring the springtime.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I'm Carl. I'm 68 years old, and I lost 40 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss. In looking at pictures, I realized that my color wasn't good. I looked bloated, constantly tired, out of breath. It got to the point where I decided it was time to pick up the phone and call Awaken 180. The combination of the diet and the coaching really pushed me over the top. My self-confidence soared. I'm walking. I'm working out. Instead of 68, I feel like I'm 28. I just had my annual physical, and my doctor looked at my blood pressure, and he said, what did you do? What happened? And I explained that I'm on the Awaken 180 program. I've never felt so good in my life. And as somebody that sometimes likes to take the shortcut, I didn't have to do that with this program. Awaken 180 is my solution for weight loss.
Carl's solution for weight loss. My solution for weight loss. Scotty Vegas here. Lower blood pressure. Increase confidence. Feeling years younger. Want the same results? Then do what we did and make your own 180 at awaken180weightloss.com.
When you reach for UDF's new pizza, you're getting more than just a quick slice. You're getting family recipe focaccia dough, handcrafted in our bakery. You're biting into a hot, crispy crust. You're tasting delicious sauce and loads of meaty, cheesy flavor. You might even be burning the roof of your mouth on that first bite, but that's okay. It's a good burn. UDF makes more than just pizza. We make pizza for you. New Sicilian-style pizza from United Dairy Farmers at participating locations. UDF, made for you.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers.
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another spring-like day today. We're going to keep the good times rolling this week. Sunny today with a high of 70. Increasing clouds tonight, low 43. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 70. Partly cloudy on Friday with a high of 75. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, first little Bet365 time.
Yes, sir, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 has launched a new sign-up offer. You bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Customers will receive bonus bets after signing up. We got what could be an NBA Finals preview tonight happening in Boston. I know Cavs fans, they don't want to hear that. I don't really want to hear it either because I think the Cavs can get it done this year with the team that they have. But it's OKC taking on the Celtics on ESPN tonight. Tip is 7:30 for that one. I'm looking at a guy who didn't necessarily hear me talking trash about him a few days ago, but putting some respect on another guy that I think could win Sixth Man of the Year, and that was Malik Beasley of the Pistons. Peyton Pritchard is the favorite right now to win that award. Give me three pointers made tonight for Peyton Pritchard at plus 110. Should be a banger of a game. So between this and Buckeye basketball, some good hoops happening tonight.
Yeah. All right, I kind of told you. If I get cracked, I get cracked. I'm going to lay the 5 tonight and see if the Buckeyes... Listen, I don't expect them to beat them like the way they did last time, up 25, winning by, 17 or whatever it was.
Beat them like they stole something.
It is a neutral court. It's a one-and-done season. Jake doesn't really know how his team's going to react. He knows their backs are against the wall. He believes they have to win, but he also feels they deserve to get in. So I don't know. The natural follow-up there would be, well, what if you deserve to get in if you lose? Well, it sounded like he felt like he had built the resume, and winning tonight is just trying to light the fuse to get them, in a good mindset for the tournament. But they are, what would you say, CB, last one in the last 4 in? Yeah. And they're fighting with teams that are fighting to stay in as well. So they need it. I'll lay the 5.
All right, there you go. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, couple questions for you. One, Cooper Kupp is now an official free agent, and I was going to think about fantasy with him. Where's the best fantasy landing spot for Cooper Kupp? My gut says don't leave L.A. and go to the Chargers.
Oh. Okay. Bit of a run-heavy offense. Mm-hmm. Just brought in Najee. Lad McConkey's a dude. I'm looking at parts out for some of these teams. And Seattle need to boost in that wide receiver room outside of JSN. Because sometimes you look at how fantasy works.
That's true.
The guys that are sometimes good fantasy players to have on your roster aren't necessarily attached to the best teams, right? Because sometimes you get in a situation where your team gets cracked all the time and you get those garbage points late. So for Cooper Kupp,
you like him with Darnold?
I don't love it. But I'm just looking at bats. So Seattle is one of those teams that just jumped to the forefront of my mind.
What about Dallas?
I think I would like it AR more for real life football than fantasy. CD's a target monster. Now you can make the case
he's an underneath monster,
and you can make the case AR that CD's had to be that because they haven't had a consistent option opposite of him. So I hear that. The question with Cooper Kupp is similar to what you get from Joey Bosa at this point. If they're out there on the field, they're going to be pretty good players. But the availability for Cooper Kupp has been a little dicey, but I don't think he's going to have a shortage of suitors. That's for sure.
Speaking of receivers, Dan Orlovsky says that Devonte Adams is taking the Rams back to their lofty heights.
I don't like this one. I absolutely love it. He is going to kill defenses on crosser routes in this offense. His last 7 games last year, 47 catches, over 690 yards, 6 touchdowns. Yards per game, he was 7th in that span in the NFL at 92. Guess who was number 1? Puka Nacua. This offense in L.A. can now go toe-to-toe with what is the best offense in the NFL, in the Philadelphia Eagles. This is an offense that can score with anybody.
Don't they wear the same number?
I think that changed yesterday.
Puka and Devonte?
I think Puka's going to 12. Saw that floating around. I don't know if Devonte had to pay up, but I think that's out there right now that Puka is going to 12. Devonte will come in and grab 17. It's hard to dispute what Dan Orlovsky just said right there. McVay and the gang have always had a pretty good offense. Always. So that system for a wide receiver that, as Dio just laid out, has still, I think, some nice tread on those tires. I see the vision. And you don't need Devonte Adams to be that horse in the wide receiver room. Puka can do that. This is a guy that's entering his prime, maybe smack dab in the middle of his prime, and he, as we all know, he can go. And so the balance I think they will have with those 2 receivers, Kyron coming out of the backfield and Stafford still looking like a top 10 to 12-ish guy in the league. Yeah, their offense should be, fairly highly up in the statistical category next year, and they've got young dudes on defense too that are ready to go. So this Rams team, especially if the Niners take a step back, Seattle takes a step back, Arizona being a gray area of what you get from them. They were first in the NFC West this year, that being the Rams. I don't think any of us should be surprised if that's the case again next year.
Here's the decision to make. By the way, I'm thrilled that you get the tread on the tires phrase. There are too many people that do it the wrong way.
Did I do that right?
You did it the right way.
Okay, there we go.
You want the tread.
Yes.
Some people say, there's too much tread on those tires. No. You don't want them to be bald. Bald. All right. It's your turn to pick.
Okay.
I'll ask CB this as well. You're on the clock. You're going to take you grabbed your running back. It's circled back to you. You've got to get your receiver. Devonte Adams is there, and Ladd McConkey is there. You can only have one of the Rams. Randy the Ram. Who are you taking?
Well, McConkey is
I'm sorry.
Charger.
One of the LA guys. My bad. I had already put what's his name on the Chargers Cup, so I was.
So in this
Devonte
scenario,
or McConkey,
as it stands today, without Cup being there, I'm taking Ladd.
In the run heavy, but he's the guy.
He's the guy. CB, where you at?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Okay.
And I guess you always got to worry about these guys over 30. Like, I had Julio Jones the year it felt the wheels fell off in Tennessee. Like, I just don't want to be caught in that situation, so I'll always default to the younger guy if I can.
Go with Ladd. What did Ladd cook up last year? Let me find this.
He was very good.
When he was healthy, he was good.
It would be a tough decision for me.
It's a lot better than what I thought.
And you just said, youth versus age and experience. I'd probably take Marvin Harrison over Devonte Adams. It wouldn't be easy, but I probably would this year just to see if I could catch him on the second year.
I would understand that. I
don't think he'll be ranked higher than him, though.
That's going to be interesting because a lot of people that had Marvin are going to want to be off of it because they saw how Kyler was with him. You're hoping in that case that it improves the connection between those two, but I'm with you.
Trey McBride he's a force. He's a force, but we know the talent is there for Marv. I knew Ladd was good last year, AR.
How good was he, Matty?
10th in the league in receiving yards as a rookie. 82 catches, 1,149 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He was cooking, man. Carson Beck was like, I miss you, bro. I need you. But yeah, that's how good Ladd McConkey was in year number 1 in the National Football League. That's good stuff. The only rookie outside of Malik Neighbors that was in the top 10, and Brian Thomas Jr. So you had 3 rookies in the top 10 of receiving yards. Actually, I'm lying. 4. Brock Bowers, McConkey, Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr. top 10 in the NFL, year number 1 in receiving yards. Dudes can go.
And I always seem to fade receivers when it comes to the fantasy draft because there's so much depth. And I think I've realized something this morning when I was thinking about fantasy football. I think that I'm exactly like my own team. I'm built for the regular season.
Come on.
And not for the playoffs.
Come on, man.
I have found the last 2 seasons, you guys have both said it, that I'm just off the charts, unreal in the regular season.
You were
sometimes
cooking.
going 8-9-0, and then when I get to the playoffs, we're just not built to sustain. We're just not. I have to think my whole strategy is out the window.
See, I don't know if that's the case because you got a squad. You just got to get them there healthy and hope they perform.
I can't get them over the top, Matty. Heads have to roll. We'll come back in 2 minutes with Zach Werenski, and we'll find out what they have in store for Vegas tomorrow night. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay. Gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Basketball from noon to midnight. Scotty Vegas here, and we're throwing a Vegas-style basketball party at Hollywood Casino at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I even went out to Vegas to scout out how to throw this party. Tough assignment. The Fan is doing 24 hours of watch parties. The opening weekend of the tournament, there'll be custom T-shirts, Pop-A-Shot, horse games. Oh, and don't miss a game with a 50-foot video wall. Reserve your spot at HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Anthony Rothman here for Tel Ohio. Tel Ohio Credit Union has been financing dreams and fueling the local economy for 90 years. And as the #1 SBA lender among Ohio credit unions, learn why more than 3,000 business owners trust Tel Ohio. Visit telohio.org/business.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Hockey and Hounds.
Sponsored by Tel Ohio Credit Union.
Now joining the boys, the lead dog on the blue line, Zach Werenski.
And not only that, he's the team's all-time leader in career assists.
There we go.
He's our guy, Zach Werenski, and he's with us now, courtesy of Tel Ohio Credit Union on Hockey and Hounds. Z, hope the nap was good. Enjoying the day off until we called.
Yeah, enjoying it so far. Actually, me and my fiance were a little bit busy this morning, so just hanging out now, which has been nice.
Awesome. Hey, congratulations. I know you've probably received a lot of that. Selfishly, I wanted you to do it here at home, but just describe the feeling, knowing where you are now now that you passed Rick Nash, which you know is a legendary name and player here with the organization. But is that a puck that they tape up and you save, or is that maybe they would have stopped the game if you did it at home? But talk to me about passing Nash for the all-time leader in career assists.
Yeah, it's cool for sure. I mean, he's a guy, like you said, that everyone kind of knows here in Columbus. And if you're a Blue Jacket, you see his name everywhere. He kind of paved the way for Blue Jackets, especially for, how great he was when he was here. So definitely an honor. It's something I really didn't think about too much. Actually, when I got that assist, it didn't even cross my mind. That was the one. But after the game, once Boone brought it up, they actually had the puck taped up for me and everything. And I think they're going to frame it. So definitely a cool moment for sure, but mostly a testament to my teammates and the teams I've been on. And, I'm here for a few more years after this, hopefully longer than that, and hopefully I can just keep adding to it.
Z, I want to stick there with Rick because he's a guy that's highly held in high esteem and Blue Jackets eyes, and you will be the same when you get done playing, too, for a lot of Blue Jacket fans. But just talk about having him around the franchise and maybe the relationship that you guys have and the impact you've seen him make.
Yeah, it's awesome having him around. He just understands what it means to be a Blue Jacket, and I think that's the most important thing, right? He's a guy that's been here. He's played for a while. He's the guy for Columbus Blue Jackets hockey. So I think having a guy that recognizes what it means, how important it is, how special it is to be a Blue Jacket, to be a part of this community, just to have him around, I think, it speaks volumes to not only myself and Booner, guys that have been here, but I think for our young guys as well, that it is important and it is a great place to play, and it is a great city and community. And so I think it's awesome that he's been around a lot more. And, whenever you see guys like that have, had a great career like him and the organization that you're playing for, I think it just pushes you to be better and want to be better. So definitely important having him around.
Big Z with us, Zach Werenski on Hockey and Hounds. So describe the feeling right now. I said earlier in the program, sometimes after the Stadium Series, I felt like maybe a narrative started where you guys went from a team that could make the playoffs to should make the playoffs. And that's kind of a dangerous spot, right? Because it adds a lot of pressure. Do you guys feel a different type of pressure right now, and how do you feel you're handling it?
I don't think we feel a different kind of pressure. I think all the pressure we feel comes from within. I feel like we obviously know where we're at in the standings. We've been in the wild card spot for, I want to say over a month now, and we'd obviously be very disappointed if it doesn't work out for us these last 18 games and we don't make it. But I think we're a pretty confident group right now. Last night's game, we actually played pretty well. First period was tough, spotting the team 3 goals. But after that, I thought we found ourselves and played well. But, they're all big games down the stretch here, and those are the games you want to play as athletes. And 11 of the 18 are at home, which we've been really good on home ice. But I feel like in terms of pressure, we really don't feel it from the outside. We just feel it from within, and I think that's a good thing. We all want to make the playoffs, and we're going to do whatever it takes to, for us to get there. And it's going to be exciting right down to the end. It's not going to be easy. Everyone's kind of fighting for those spots, but we're excited for it. We feel like we have to do it.
Z, no doubt. We were talking earlier just about one aspect of the games recently that haven't gone your guys' way, and it's been the power play. And you're well aware of that. What have you seen in that realm of the game right now, and why maybe the power play isn't clicking right now? Maybe the conversations you guys have had to try to get that corrected.
Yeah, it's definitely not clicking for us. It's something that's going to be big these last 18 games. I feel like it can make or break a game. Obviously, the Rangers, it could have broke us, but I thought we gathered ourselves. The game before that in Florida, I think it was 2-0. If we score one on the power play, it's 2-1, and you never know what happens. So even last night, we have some chances too, and if we score one on the power play, it could change the whole direction of the game. But I feel like for us, we're confident. We know we can have success on our power play with the 5 guys on my unit and the 5 guys on the other unit. We've done it this year for a long time, a long stretch of games. Just not clicking for us right now. I feel like for us, it just has to get back to being simple, being direct, getting pucks to the net. I feel like right now we're maybe a little bit too slow with it, a little bit too slow with our movement. But we're confident. We keep working on it. We've been working on it at morning skates and practices. We talk about it a lot. We've watched a lot of video on it. So I'm pretty confident we're going to break out of this here soon. And we're home for the next 4 games. So hopefully we can get some confidence on it here soon.
Yeah, you almost climbed out of it last night. I thought that was a big penalty kill late in the second to kind of keep it a 1-goal game after you climbed into it. Talk to me about that. You're in the zone with momentum, and you just killed the penalty. I thought you got very unlucky. You tried to sneak that pass through to Marchie. I think Voronkov was kind of covered up in front of the net. I like the decision, but then they kind of turn and burn, and now you're trying to defend a breakout, and 3 teammates are still in the zone. I thought it was just unlucky. You guys had momentum, and if that pass gets through to Marchie, and I kind of know where you're thinking, right? It was almost a no-looker you were trying to think. Walk me through that moment of the game. At 3-2, you're in the zone. You've just killed the penalty.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough, right? I feel like it's so fast. I can watch it 100 different times and think of 100 different things I could have done with it. But just based on that moment, I mean, I could have shot. I could have tried to find Ronnie net front. Kind of how the puck comes to me, I see Marchie out of the corner of my eye. And, if I settle it for one more second, maybe the guy I hit with it is, a foot or 2 down the other way and it gets through. There's so many things you can kind of nitpick on it. But, yeah, it doesn't work out. It's a play usually I think I'd like to make. It's a play I know I can make. It just doesn't happen. And then, I get a little bit too aggressive on the first guy coming out of the zone. I forget who it was. And then a little bit on the back check. And I think Fabs played it really well. I think Myers has a great shot for posting in. But definitely a tough time to give up a goal there. I mean, looking back on it now, hindsight, I probably would have made a different play with it, just kept the puck in the zone. But those are split-second decisions, and sometimes you just got to live with them.
Z, you've been really good at home this year. The team has been really good at home this year. Now you guys are going to welcome in tomorrow one of the best teams in the league, and specifically the Western Conference in Vegas. They've lost a couple in a row, so you guys will have their full attention. And I can't wait to see what this looks like. But just talk about Vegas and the challenges they present.
Yeah, it's a really good hockey team. We played them hard in Vegas a few weeks ago. I think we came back and won the game 2-1 in overtime. So we're confident we can hang with them. Obviously, the West is a little bit different of a field than the Eastern Conference games. We don't see them as much, but yeah, it's a team that's been in the playoffs for a long time, a team that knows how to win. Like you said, they've dropped a few in a row here, so they're going to come out hungry, but so are we. And I feel like if we play our game and we stick to our structure and if we play like we have been at Nationwide, we should have some success tomorrow night. So, it's one of those things where we're excited for it. It's going to have a playoff-type feel to the game, I feel like. And I'm confident if we just play our game, we're going to have success.
Good news. I got some more good news for you. You may remember a couple weeks ago, I pitched a dog named Mr. Bat, who some very close people that I know were involved in Mr. Bat's rescue. Well, he found his new home, and they love him so much, and they say he's already kind of running the household, and it's awesome. You know what that means with Bo, and now the weather's getting great. To get these dogs out of the shelter and to let them start to live their lives is awesome. So Mr. Bat has a home, which is awesome, and I'm going to pitch a dog named Theo. Theo is at Gigi's. Gigi's.org is the shelter. He's been in the shelter since around New Year's Eve, so it's a little too long for my liking and his. Really sweet-natured boy. I think he's kind of like a spaniel, beagle type of mix, really laid-back demeanor. Love Theo. He could use some building of his confidence, as all dogs can, but he's already really made really good progress in a short time that he's been with Gigi's. I like to say they benefit with that reward-based training, working on basic manners and skills. I'll call him kind of medium to large. He's a little bit under 50 pounds. He's only 2 years old. So I'll urge people to go to gigi's.org and check out Theo and all of their other dogs that are up for adoption, and hopefully we can get Theo a home. But I was really excited about Mr. Bat because Mr. Bat was a stray that I told you about. The people that worked so hard and were passionate about making sure that he didn't get lost and that he found his new family. And I want to thank Gigi so much for taking him in and taking care of him and being a real kind of middleman on getting him to his home. So Mr. Bat is in a home, and Theo is the next one up.
Yeah, that's great news. That's awesome. That made my day. So hopefully we can get Theo in a home soon here too.
Yep. Thanks, Z. Have fun, and good luck tomorrow night.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yep, that's our guy, Zach Werenski. Hockey and Hounds brought to you by Tell Higher Credit Union. 90 years of experience. Tell Higher Credit Union knows how to put members first. Find your trusted financial partner at tellhio.org. You know what's interesting, Maddie, is that he said that he could watch a play, 100 times and maybe have a different decision that he would have made. It's happening so lightning fast.
Yeah.
And here I'm talking about it after seeing 8 replays and wondering if he would have done something differently. Yeah. It was a time in the game, though, where I think if they do tie it, now the Devils are starting to feel like, I can't believe we blew a 3-0 lead. It was such a pivotal, because they had just killed the penalty. They're in the zone, and I know that he's thinking, I could shoot it, throw it in the slot, Ronnie's covered up, and I see Marchie I see him there. Yeah. If that biscuit gets through, Marchie's got a chance on a great angle. But didn't happen. They got to fight and get back to it tomorrow night at home. We come back with Tell the Truth. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or have been with Metro in the past 180 days.
Get your furnace fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Do you realize making the minimum monthly payments on your credit cards, it'll take nearly 20 years to pay them off? What if I told you there's a way for you to get them all paid off in just a matter of weeks? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Imagine wiping out all of your credit cards. Here's where you go. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending is the easy button for tapping in to hundreds of thousands of dollars in your home equity. That's not the bank money, it's your money. Listen, your home, the value is way up. And now AFLcash.com has a super fast, hassle-free program that lets you turn that equity into cash. People who do this are living their best life, their credit card debt free, with cash left over for other stuff like home improvements, maybe a vacation. See how much money you can get now. Go to aflcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Say goodbye to greedy credit card companies. That's aflcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here. Over the past 10 years, the weight loss industry has seen it all. New medications, fad diets, sculpting, yet Awaken 180 still stands alone as the proven solution for lasting weight loss. Results at awaken180weightloss.com.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Having a lot of sex this weekend. Is that right? Said that to you.
Yeah, he was asking me if I'm going to have a lot.
How much are you having?
I think it's going to rhyme with hero.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Men, this is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk about love. Because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at Tri-State Men's Health and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Truly, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
All right, CB, take us home.
All right, so earlier in the show with Bobby, we discussed the spring showcase just a little bit. So my first question will go along the lines of that. Which young player besides Julian Sain are you most looking forward to seeing in that spring showcase?
I don't know how much we're going to see of this guy, but I want to see the James Peoples show. I want to see what this looks like. You know, some buzz about him last year, AR, and it was an uphill climb with the veterans, Travion, Quinshawn. Those guys are dudes, and we saw that play out, and those guys were a key component of Ohio State winning a national championship. But I'm going to go with James Peoples. I know they brought in a transfer running back in CJ Donaldson from West Virginia, but what he's supposed to be is the next dude in line that can go at a high level. So I just want to see his skill set. The showcase probably won't be too much to write home about as far as, hey, we really know this about this guy or that guy. But I just want to see him out there on the grass, on the turf, AR, bouncing around to see what he's got in his bag. So I'll go James Peoples.
Yeah, it's tough to know in the spring showcase exactly how they're going to be showcased. All right, since you went with an offensive guy, I'll go with a defensive guy. I don't know how much we're going to see of this guy either, but Zion Grady seems to be like somebody that I want to check this dude out as far as where he could be in this defensive line rotation. He's a guy that they got a lot on the defensive line, right, with Curry and Kenyatta. But when you get a 4-star guy like that and you get him out of the state of Alabama and 6'4", 240 and decommits because Saban retires and pulls ripcord, they took a couple visits here, and there's a feeling like he could be a really big dude for this defensive line. There are a lot of schools that wanted him, big-time programs, Tennessee and Auburn and the U, and the Buckeyes won out at the end like they usually do. But I'll go with Zion Grady, the 4-star kid out of Enterprise, Alabama, 6'4", 235, and see if we get him to become a household name early.
Just find out right now today is true.
All right, next up, Get Up was talking this morning about the 49ers, the amount of guys they've lost in free agency over the tampering period, and that if they're going to tear it down and rebuild, it's time to deal Christian McCaffrey. My question to you is, put you to the test on it. You're John Lynch and the 49ers. Are you trading CMC?
Well, this works against me because I can't trade them if I think they're going to be the bounce-back team in the NFL. This doesn't look good. If you said business is business, you trade him. His value is high still. And you got to find a way to rebuild, and he provides you with the chance to get pieces to rebuild. If I'm into winning now and bouncing back right away, then of course I'm keeping him because he's way too valuable. But if I'm thinking about the future and it's not about this season, Maddie, I would be very tempted to kind of put out a very subtle open for business.
You know what else I think would tempt you if you're Kyle Shanahan and you're John Lynch and you're going back and looking at game tape over the last year or two is, man, when Christian McCaffrey's not in the game, our rushing production doesn't really fall off. Kyle Shanahan's got a track record of guys stepping into that system and playing well, right? What, the Elijah Mitchells of the world, what Jordan Mason last year was popping off, Mostert. Like, there have been some names that have come through San Francisco attached to Kyle Shanahan, and the run game has been good. Does it have the peak that McCaffrey has? Probably not, just because he brings so much to the table. But it's definitely something I think they should consider. But I think they would want to see it through, or should want to see it through for one more year with him.
Let me see what they traded for him.
Because at the end of the day, if it's Purdy, McCaffrey, George Kittle, Ayuk, Pearsall, Trent Williams, like that's still a nice offensive unit.
Second, third, a third. Am I right about this? Second, third, fourth, plus a fifth?
That sounds
the compensation?
Right. That sounds about right.
That's a lot to give up for a running back.
You think they get anything similar to that now? Because I don't. Because if I'm
He's
a
got
team,
too big a history of injuries,
and he's 2 years older now.
I just think they're kind of a chips into the middle team.
Keep them. One more year
to see if you could benefit from that trade. They gave up a lot to get him.
Yeah.
When healthy, he can spark a lot, and they still have a very, very good defense, so they can be competitive. Rarely would they be picking this high.
To your point, though, AR, the track record shows us the one-off that he cooked up in San Francisco where he played all those games is not what you're going to get.
The compensation they gave up for him was the most since the Browns traded for Trent Richardson.
How'd that work out, CB? Did you enjoy that experience?
Well, I enjoyed getting a first-round pick for Richardson. Yeah.
Of course you did.
Well, that's the thing.
I don't know, AR. I don't.
He's got 3 years left. Is that where is he on his
CMC? I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He's got.
Is this the last year? If this is the last year, then that
sounds
you
right.
may sway me to do it. If this is the last year of the deal.
Yeah, he signed a 2-year, $38 million extension last summer. So it sounds like this would be the last year.
That changes things. All right, give me your final answer. You trade him or
I'm not moving him. I'm the 49ers. I'm bouncing back.
Yeah, I'm keeping him too.
Yep.
Why would you worry?
All right, quick final one. Tiger Woods announced yesterday the ruptured Achilles. He went under the procedure to fix that. Hopes to play in 26. The question is, though, tell the truth, will we ever see Tiger make the cut at a major tournament ever again?
No, I don't want to see him do anything on a golf course ever again. It's time.
Wow.
It's time. It's just time. His body keeps telling him what time it is. You're one of the GOATs. You're right there with Jack. You have nothing else to prove. It's time to put the jersey up in the rafters. I don't want to see him.
You had him on a cart on the senior tour.
I don't want to see him on a course ever again. His body is absolutely cooked. So I hope my guy retires.
Mm-hmm. Made 142 straight cuts between 98 and 05. It's ridiculous. And he last won one in 2019. So I'm going to err on where the odds would say no. that he won't make another cut in a major based on this recent injury and the fact that he's getting older. I always left a little bit of room at the Masters because of the smaller field, no rough, some aging champs that get to play. And I thought, well, maybe he could make the cut at the Masters, but I'll say no.
The truth shall set you free.
If you missed anything from our show, don't worry. Wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. Our podcast is sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Pizza Madness continues on Common Man and T-Bone. Jeff Rimmer joins at 4:30.
All right, we'll come back and talk Buckeyes and Blue Jackets with you tomorrow. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Question from a listener. Do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. All tournament long, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app. Sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hoops fans, are you ready to score big and get lucky this March? What's up? It's T-Bone. I'm here to tell you that Bud Light will be holding mini hoops challenges at bars and restaurants across town over the next several weeks with one goal in mind: to send one lucky local winner to Las Vegas where they'll compete for $10,000. Take your shot at March Madness glory. This week, join Bud Light on Thursday night as they take over Pastimes New Albany on North Hamilton Road. They'll be there from 8 to 10 p.m. and they'll have a mini hoops basketball challenge that'll give you a shot at a Vegas trip and $10,000.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game. That's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
Hey, it's Anthony, and I've got a fitting personalized for you. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand your unique lifestyle, your daily routines, and most importantly, the pain that brought you in to see them in the first place. If your feet ache after a long day or that discomfort starts radiating through your knees, your hips, your back, I've been there. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And they're working for me. I walked all over the place in New Orleans covering the big game. I was loving it. I literally was walking for miles around the French Quarter, Canal Street, everywhere, because I had my personally fit arch supports in my shoes. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. I want you to be one of them. Go in, take the free test walk. They're immediately available. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
For 100 years, our passionate Atlas Butler has been helping people. From those who have relied on us for years to those who call us for the first time. For our team, their families, and our community, Atlas Butler is here to keep Central Ohio safe and comfortable with trusted, convenient service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.